And we are live. Hey everybody, this is Roberto Blake. Hope you create something awesome today. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing another Wednesday workshop. So what we do is we like to do these workshops on Wednesdays. We on week 5 of 12 right now when it comes to our Wednesday workshops. Today we're going to be focusing on monetization. We're also going to cover a little bit of copyright to clear up any confusion for you guys on copyright. We have an entire PDF slide deck. We have that linked for you in the description down below. We've also placed that in the chat so that you guys can find it pretty easily. We make sure that for these presentations, you're able to download the slides. We also have resources linked in the description down below for you. We don't have Kajabi as the official sponsor for this live workshop and the replay, but we are going to shout them up anyway. We're going to shout them out anyway because they actually sponsored me for Social Media Marketing World this week, where I gave a presentation on the business side of YouTube. So if you want to check out Kajabi, we're going to link to them in the presentation, and we're going to link to them in the description down below, because since this workshop is about monetization, making money online, making money as a content creator, you should know that Kajabi is one of the best ways you can do that. If you want to set up your own private membership website like I did with Awesome Creator Academy, or if you want to sell online courses, coaching, you want to build a paid community or cohort, Kajabi is the way to do it. And we're going to go ahead and make sure we show them some love, link to them in the description, and shout them out here. I also want to shout out our friends over at 1 of 10 for sponsoring content on the channel. It's the best overall tool for YouTube strategy and finding outlier videos and measuring your competition. We've demoed it here on the channel, and they sponsor our weekly Friday YouTube channel reviews if you guys ever want to come back for that. So shout out to 1of10.com. You use discount code Roberto to get 50% off. You can use discount code AWESOME to get a free 30-day trial. So those resources will be linked by the mods in the chat, and they'll be linked in the description down below for on YouTube. So for today, what we're going to get into is we're going to get heavily into YouTube monetization. And before we get into the slide deck presentation, I'm going to show you something that most people do not. And I'm going to do that with YouTube Analytics. We're going to show you the lifetime earnings and revenue of my actual YouTube channel and break that down for you. So if we go to lifetime revenue from the YouTube Partner Program, this is not counting my brand deals. This is not counting my affiliate links. This is not counting direct product sales from Awesome Creator Academy. This is just YouTube partner revenue. On 43 million views, I have earned approximately $346,167.91 so far since getting into the YouTube partner program, not counting some of the data that was lost during the time I was with a multi-channel network, what we used to call an MCN, where they were taking 50% of all of my ad revenue. That was a dark time for the channel. So I lost some of my data, so it's possible I've made a little bit more than this, but we're not going to worry about it too much. Majority of my revenue does not come from AdSense earnings. Majority of my revenue comes from sponsorships. It used to be that affiliate marketing was one of my largest overall revenue streams. Since then, I would say it's been sponsorships. Affiliate marketing is not as lucrative as it was in the earlier years. And I would say that brand deals and sponsorships, UGC, and I would say Awesome Creator Academy probably are the most prominent. I would say that affiliate marketing still is decent, but it's not what it used to be. It used to be number one for me for a very long time. We will talk about affiliate marketing. We will talk about brand deals. We will talk about more than just regular YouTube monetization with the partner program. I also want to break down different ways YouTube can pay you as well, and we will cover that in the slide presentation. Interesting note that YouTube premium revenue for watch time is something you can be paid for, and in my case, it has been pretty substantial. Watch page ads is obviously the most. And they show you here direct estimated AdSense earnings, playback based CPM. We also have the RPMs for different videos and topics for my channel. And as you can see here, the RPMs for different videos on my channel can be significantly high depending on the type of video I do, how long it is. You see that the big numbers for me come from the RPM from live streams. You might assume that the revenue on that was going to be from super chats. The reality is, if you look at some of the live streams, it's ad revenue from the replays of those live streams. So I would highly suggest a lot of you do not underestimate what live streams can accomplish, what long form videos can accomplish, because you can see here that I have high RPM and CPM rates for these, but the capacity to have multiple ads in videos is very significant and plays a role in this. We're also going to talk about YouTube's update to monetization and the mid-roll ad placement. I know a lot of you will probably have questions about the mid-roll ad placement, but I wanted to show you this because I want to show you what is possible and for you to get a realistic look at this. I was one of the first YouTubers in the old days to actually show the back end of AdSense and earnings because I read the terms of service and realized that it was not going to get you kicked out of the YouTube Partner Program to show this. So I was one of the first people who had the guts to show my actual revenue from the YouTube Partner Program in the dashboard in real time. So I felt that was important, and now you guys can see what is possible and what is achievable. And again, it depends on your overall content. It's not all just by the way that I've made money off of, just YouTube help videos. You guys can see that even this video here on building a personal brand did a significant RPM, $11 RPM, whereas some other YouTube help content has half of that for an RPM. YouTube help content is not the most profitable content there is. If you even look at it here, significant revenue on this other one that is just purely about making money and also about productivity. Productivity, tutorials, things that are more business oriented tend to do better. Uh, Raw social media content can do better. If you look at what my most lucrative video probably is, it's probably this one, which is actually about making and selling merchandise and print on demand products. So you could technically argue that that one is not necessarily a YouTube help video, and you can see that its revenue and its earnings were significant, and that's just from the AdSense side. That was also a sponsored workshop working with a print-on-demand company, Spreadshop, at the time. So again, extraordinarily lucrative video with that one. The RPM and CPM values for the print-on-demand niche are extremely high. I would say that print-on-demand and e-commerce is extremely high and that a lot of people are underestimating that. So again, I just felt like this would be something extremely relevant to lead off with. I mean, look at this video on passive income, how well it did. And that was from back in the day. So again, I wanted to show you that to give you a better understanding of what things can be. This video here on affiliate marketing, for example, $22 RPMs on that one, almost 5,000 in revenue for that. So a lot of people will not show you this and don't have videos across multiple topics and niches to show you how much money can be made, and they will not show you the RPM. They might show you their monthly YouTube AdSense earnings. It's very rare for them to show you lifetime earnings and show you individual earnings for their top 50 most profitable videos and what the RPMs on that are. So here, I've given you that information in a way that other people probably might not. So that was just something partly to kind of whet your appetite for some of this. We are going to get heavily into the money making side beyond the YouTube Partner Program as we go through the presentation here. So I want to introduce you to the YouTube Creator Playbook for Monetization Earnings, part of our ongoing 12-week series. We're in week 5 now. We want to invite you guys also to get the slide deck presentation. You can screenshot this and use the QR code, or you can go to www.awesomecreatoracademy.com/week05. And if you go to week 05, you'll get this full PDF presentation. You can do this for any of the weeks of the presentations that we've been doing, and that will allow you to download that slide for free. We're not going to bombard you with a bunch of spam, but we do want you to be able to have this. And yes, we will be demonstrating some offers to you, but we'll also be sending you a lot of great resources and free information that we put together, just like how we put the information together for this workshop. To give you a better understanding of my perspective on being a full-time content creator, I have multiple revenue streams. In fact, we're going to get into diversification and all the different ways you can make money, just to give you kind of a sneak peek of the slides here. And we're going to talk about a lot of these 15 monetization methods. This is a pretty thick slide deck here. And so we're going to get into quite a lot. But I want to give you some perspective here on my creator journey. I do over $100,000 in revenue, and not just from Awesome Creator Academy and what I built on, which I built on Kajabi with the Academy Pro group, one-on-one coaching. We haven't gone into $500 courses just yet. We have some micro courses that are like 99 bucks. We also have a lot of digital download products. We have some $9 digital downloads as well that are affordable, like our ChatGPT creator prompts. But I make the majority of my annual revenue, at least for the last few years, from sponsorships, brand deals, and UGC. I just did a speaker sponsorship with Kajabi speaking at Social Media Marketing World. So the partnerships with brands tend to be very, very lucrative for me. Those tend to be over $100,000 a year total across my partnerships for sponsorship, then 100,000 a year from Awesome Creator Academy directly, usually more. For example, last month was a 13K month. And then there is, of course, affiliate revenue. Affiliate revenue has done substantial for me in the past with different partners. It is not nearly as lucrative as it was, but I would say that's about $3,000 a month. $3,000 a month in affiliate revenue. It used to be more than $8,000 a month in affiliate revenue at one point, then 6, then 3. Sometimes partnerships with affiliates can change, but I digress. And then, of course, there's the 30 to 40,000 in YouTube partner program revenue. Then there are things like selling my book, and I licensed a course to LinkedIn that still does some royalties. It's not a lot of money. And of course, there's public speaking and paid in-person workshops. So I've been doing this for a very long time. I've established myself, built a reputation, and I'm able to command certain prices for my opportunities. And it's given me a lot of time to really think about and dive into the different ways creators can make revenue. So I'm self-taught to 6 figures, and I try to bring other people along. I believe that creators are the future. I believe that we will be the new elite white-collar professionals of the 21st century. I believe that that's going to be true, especially with the ability to create human-centric value, since AI and automation are going to cannibalize a lot of different things. I think that proof of human is going to be important. Proof of human, going to be a priority for people. Personal brands are going to make a massive comeback for people, especially professionals, especially those of you who are over 30 and watching this. It's going to be very important for you to do personal brand, proof of human. Private membership communities that are paywalled are going to be great because people are going to want curated experiences as more and more things become mainstream. You all have seen mainstream communities where something you were passionate about that was niche ended up getting astroturfed by normies, by people who are tourists that ruined your fandom, ruined your community. Well, more people are going to feel that way, and they're going to want paywalled private communities. So there is going to be a little bit of elitism there. So you have proof of human, personal brands, private communities. And I think that personalized experiences are going to matter a lot more. I think that's going to matter a lot more when you're a human being and you reply to somebody, or when you have a live stream experience and you say someone's name or they donate and you thank them. I think that personalized experiences like shout outs are going to matter more, collaborations and such. So, yeah, I think that it's going to be important to focus on those four things in the near future. And so I would encourage a lot of you to really look at how you're going to attack things from that dynamic as a content creator. Like I said, this is one of the reasons I think creators are the future, is I think we're going to be in a unique position to create value. And I think across those four dimensions, it's really going to matter a lot to people. Now, since we're going into a huge talk about money, I want to give you a perspective on what is realistic and how to set expectations. We actually covered how to set expectations and standards for yourself if you are a working class content creator with a full time job. That was in week 1 of our 12-week series here. But how long does it actually take to succeed as a content creator? This is a very important question. I tell people that realistically, if you're a working class creator with a 9 to 5 job, as long as you have that 9 to 5 job, it tends to take 5 to 7 years. That's not always the case. Yes, some people succeed sooner than that. For me, it was about 3 years, but I was already a full time freelancer when I did it. So that's a different situation than a 9 to 5 job, because I had control of my time. I might have still been working long hours, but I was in control of when I was working, what I was working on, and what my priorities were. If you are a 9 to 5er, that's not the case. So for the working class creator who, after 40, 50 hours a week on the job, has to come home, be an adult, cook, clean, maybe even wrangle kids, and you have 10 hours to 20 hours every single week of spare energy, the scraps of your energy, the scraps of your time, the scraps of what's left of your creative energy as well, after working your job, that's what you have to create the best content you're capable of. This is part of why I sometimes don't believe in quality over quantity, because I do not believe if you're a working class content creator, you're in the position to prioritize quality over consistency. Because I don't think your lifestyle, if you're a working class content creator, puts you in a position to where spending more time on your content actually accomplishes anything other than making you exhausted. And I think that that's a fair thing to say, of why I don't think quality over quantity is appropriate in a working class content creator discussion. I don't think it means you should put out crappy content. I don't think you should make mediocre content, but I think you should be optimizing for something other than quality. And I think you should focus on value and consistency, or as I call it, value and volume. Now, there are people who go the other direction, and more power to them. But I would say the ones who succeed with that are the exception versus the rule. And I would say what's more common is that if you get 2 or 3 weeks off, or you get a vacation, or you're furloughed, or you're laid off, and then you decide to do something big, then you have all this time and all this energy to make content in that way. Or if your kids are on vacation, they're off to the grandparents, maybe you have the energy and time then. But for most people, working themselves to exhaustion on content after overworking at the job is not productive and doesn't make the content any better, and doesn't make the content get any more views. So that's the issue that I think a lot of people run into, and where the debate in the community of quality versus quantity comes into. Because I will straight up tell you that the biggest YouTubers that also say quality over quantity, they don't have kids. They're mostly 25 years old, never married, no kids, no stepkids. They're not caretaking of their elderly parents. They're not doing any of those things. It's very easy in that position to say quality over quantity when you're in your 20s and you're young and you can work 40 to 80 hours a week. That's a very different situation. Most people in their 30s, most people over 25 don't have that luxury. So what happens for most people is they spend 5 to 7 years working at this the best they can, doing the best they can with what they have, improving over a long period of time, trying to get out 1 to 2 videos a week, depending on what their niche is capable of supporting. And eventually, through sheer time and effort invested, they're able to break through, or something in their life changes and they're able to tackle this more aggressively or flip it into full-time effort, even if it's not quite full-time income. And then that creates the results. So I'm just going to be realistic and tell you the truth that that is largely the case for people. And then there are situations where life happens and that can delay the progress of a channel, even under the best of circumstances. Now, I don't say all of that to be a negative ninny, and I don't say that to make you depressed. I say that to say you should not feel bad if you've been doing YouTube for the last few years and you haven't made it yet. In fact, here are some stats you need to know, and that YouTube is not saturated with creators who are crushing it. You might think everyone has 100,000 subscribers and that everyone has 1 million subscribers because that's who you're choosing to watch and that's what the algorithm's reporting to you. But it's actually the far minority of people. If you really wanted to know, not even 1% of all the creators on this platform have 100,000 subscribers. Less than a fraction of a half of a percent have 1 million subscribers. It's not really as saturated as you think. And this is the global marketplace of channels. If you want to know some of the US numbers, in the United States, less than 100,000 creators in the United States have a silver play button with 100,000 subscribers. Less than 10,000 have a gold play button in America with 1 million subscribers. And if you look at in the entire world, 10 million subscribers, it's less people who have climbed Mount Everest. Climbing Mount Everest is more reasonable than having 10 million YouTube subscribers. Do keep in mind that also a lot of the increase in these numbers, majority of the increase in these numbers is due to YouTube Shorts channels on top of that. So I want to make it very clear to you that YouTube is not saturated with people who've been making content that audiences respond to. 88% of all videos on YouTube get less than 1,000 subscribers, according to 9 to 5 Google. And that was before YouTube Shorts. So it should be very clear to you, if you didn't understand before, to set reasonable expectations and maybe not beat yourself up about the fact that you don't have a huge audience, you're not getting massive views. That if you were to get 10K subscribers, you would be crushing it on YouTube. If you're in the YouTube Partner Program and monetized, you are already successful on YouTube, because when there are only 3 million creators in the YouTube Partner Program, according to CEO Neil Mohan, the CEO of YouTube, then that means that monetization itself is a huge milestone. There are technically 115 million channels worldwide. Social Blade only manages to monitor about 63 million of them because it cannot account for most of the channels that are under 1,000 subscribers. Currently, in terms of channels over 1,000 subscribers. We don't have the most accurate data on that for 2025, but in 2022, that was over 10 million. We currently believe that number to be about 14 million, and that's us lowballing the number. It's probably higher as far as channels over 1,000 subscribers. So do with that with you will. The it would be, frankly, just having 1,000 subscribers is, it's possible right now. It puts you in the top 10% of all channels on YouTube, and I'm not joking about that. So that's how extreme it is, and why you need to give yourself a little grace if you feel like you're struggling to grow. It's actually very difficult. Now, over the weeks, we've been talking about these 15 fundamentals for creators. This is a favorite area that people like the screenshot here. In particular, these are things that I find to be more important and most important for being successful as a creator. And we tend to talk about them throughout these lectures. For most of you who are struggling to figure out what you're making and why you're making it, we talk about this concept called Ikigai. We will be focusing a lot on the monetization component of Ikigai in this case, but a lot of people struggle on YouTube because they only focus on what they're passionate about, not who the audience or market is for that passion, what skills they bring to the table that show that they can create value for the market. A lot of people don't consider that if you're passionate about something, but you suck at it, you don't have a way to create value, and you certainly don't have a way to monetize in that situation. So people do follow passion over a cliff. The goal should be to look at what you're passionate about and then what skills you bring to the table, and then figure out the intersection of what am I passionate about that I'm actually good enough at to create value for people, and how do they perceive value versus how do I perceive value. And then in terms of passion, I would say that your niche is not a prison. Your niche is a community of people who are passionate about the same thing as you in the same way as you. They need to be like-minded people that share your interest, but they need to be like-hearted people that share your values. It's not enough for people to like something that you like. They should like it the same way, or there's going to be a disconnect. And it's going to be harder for you to navigate, and it's going to be harder for you to create value for them if that's not the case. So you should align on interest and values, and then you should be able to understand what they would value more and what they would value most. If you know that, you won't have a problem connecting with them for packaging, thumbnails, titles, and views. You also won't have a hard time knowing how to sell to them. So that's going to be important. And if you up your skill, it's going to make everything easier when it comes to creating value for them. And it's going to make it easier when it's time to monetize if you bring more to the table in terms of your skills. So that's why we teach the Ikigai framework. If you can harness those things, then you're going to be more successful with this holistic approach than if you don't. This is also the answer to burnout right here. This will be the answer to burnout for the majority of you. Now, YouTube has 10 ways directly on your channel without leaving the platform to monetize. We're going to conflate some of these a little bit, and then we're going to bring our 15, which includes off-platform ways to monetize. But YouTube has ads both for long form and short form. They kind of combine those, but you could separate those. Technically, here, I could argue that YouTube itself has about 12 ways to monetize, not just these 10. So they say YouTube ads, and YouTube ads is YouTube ads and YouTube Shorts ads, which are monetized differently. So that adds another one to the table here. They say YouTube shopping, but YouTube shopping is YouTube affiliate shopping, and it's YouTube merch as well. And that includes the capacity for you to do your own print on demand products, your own digital products, etc. So that means that there are two more ways to monetize than they're actually claiming on this chart directly on the platform. YouTube Premium pays you based on watch time from viewers that have premium that are not seeing ads. So even when people don't see ads, if they're using premium instead of ad blockers, then you still get paid for that. Then there is YouTube Brand Connect. This is a concierge service where YouTube connects you with brands and it doesn't take a cut of that revenue at all. Now, not everyone gets offered things based on this, but they're trying to expand that and reach more creators with it. So when you can get it, it's actually pretty good. I've done it once. Then there are channel memberships. Those are fan-funded channel memberships. Some of you are channel members here. YouTube splits that 70-30. So let's say you had a $10 a month membership. You'd get $7. YouTube would take $30. But wait, there's more. Apple takes 30% if it's bought through an iOS device. So you're going to get less than that. So it's going to be closer to 50% when it's all said and done. Um, but it is what it is. Same thing for super chats, which are donations via live stream, super stickers that can be done on live streams, as well as I believe super stickers can be done on regular videos and shorts. And the same thing for super thanks. Those are direct donations from your audience on recorded videos and live videos. Ticketing is more a matter of YouTube Music, and gifts are now a new in-platform currency option that exists for vertical live streaming if you're doing the vertical live streaming. So those are the ways that YouTube talks about monetizing directly on your platform. Now, we've done direct videos on the channel for those of you who are like, well, what about the 4,000 hours of watch time? And what about the 1,000 subscribers? We've already done long form videos right here on the YouTube channel that you can watch specifically about that if that's your biggest issue. If you want at the end of the workshop to ask some questions about that, you really can. But we've already covered it in much more concise videos than a 2-hour workshop is going to be. Now, when it comes to being a full-time content creator, I believe you should be diversifying your revenue, and this is the kind of more or less system that I came up with for it. What I like to teach you, and what I do differently probably than other coaches in the creator economy, is I focus on the concept of systems, support, strategy, and also helping you understand the importance of structure, because you need structure to organize your life. You need structure for things like scheduling your workflows for your content. You need structure for organizing your systems and being efficient. So structure is largely about productivity. Systems are about that as well, but they're also about being able to duplicate your results. And you also need a strategy, you need a plan, and sometimes you'll need support as well. You'll need other people, whether it's team members, whether it's mentors, whether it's direct support from the people at the platform when something goes wrong on the platform side with copyright or monetization or policy, something to that nature. So everyone needs support. Everyone should benefit from systems that help them with productivity and duplicating success. People should definitely have structure and try to be orderly and set up a way to move effectively and efficiently through all their processes. And of course, you should always have a strategy and a plan to help you achieve your desired outcomes. So that's the way I teach, and I try to give you a taste of that here in these workshops. If you're not in the Academy Pro group, or you've never worked with me one-on-one, or you haven't gone through our free Creator Foundations course, that's what I do differently, and that's my way of teaching and my way of helping people ultimately achieve their desired outcomes. And the reason I bring this up is because most people do not think seriously enough about how to make money as a content creator. This is really important. So platform revenue, like we talked about, when YouTube shows you, hey, here's how we make money on platform, that's great, but you need ways to make money off platform. And in my view, this is kind of the equation for it, in terms of the idea that I like having my own membership website, which I do with Kajabi. That's what awesomecreatoracademy.com is. That's what we do with the pro group. We're going to also do some other forms of membership. We also have a VIP program now and some other things. But this is income that's monthly recurring revenue that exists outside of YouTube's platform and control, but also where I don't do a revenue split. For example, if I were doing everything I'm doing on Awesome Creator Academy and I was trying to use the YouTube system, instead of getting to keep the $10,000, $13,000 a month, I'd be giving 3,000 to 4,000 of it to YouTube, and I would have less control than I do now. So that's actually a big downside of that. Now, I love the convenience of what YouTube channel memberships are. And for entertainers instead of educators, instead of thought leaders, it makes perfect sense. In fact, we're going to get into influencer versus thought leader monetization here shortly. But I want you to understand that even if you are an influencer, I would encourage you to pay for hosting your own $10 a month premium membership, because that 30% that YouTube takes and then that 30% that iOS takes, it eats up your profits, and then you're at 50% of your revenue. And that's before we talk about your cost, and that's before you pay taxes on it. Because then by the time you have cost and taxes, you're down to 30% out of all the value you created. You created 90 to 100% of the value, but you're then only making 30% margin on it. Now, in traditional business, that might sound okay, but from a practical standpoint, this might put you in a bad position, and then things can change. Your life can change, your needs could change, your family situation can change, your other income sources can change, inflation happens. So again, this is why I like controlling this income off platform. It's the same thing for products and services. There is a realistic way where, let's say you do merch, for example, which we'll talk about. When you sell your merch, the good thing about YouTube shopping is that the merchandise, they don't take a cut of that. But you have to understand that if you sell a t-shirt for, let's say, $18, with print on demand fees and fulfillment, your margin on an $18 t-shirt that you sell is probably $7. If you're trying to be super kind to your fans and sell something really affordable, but you want the fabric and quality to be really good, if you decide that you're going to sell a premium t-shirt at $14.99, you're only going to make $3 off of that shirt. And then you're still splitting that $3 with Uncle Sam at the end of the day. So you need to understand that in your pricing model for your products, it's important to build margin in there so that it's reasonable for you to be able to keep doing this, and so that you have the money to invest into things like promotion or good designs for your products, hiring a good artist to help you with that. So it's important to charge the proper amount for things, even print on demand. So that's another revenue stream you could control that would exist outside of YouTube. Products, whether they're physical or digital, can give you passive income. Services, when you trade your time for money, let's say you do speaking engagements, let's say you do hosting duties at an esports event, you need to make sure that you know what to charge for your services that you provide, even outside of brand deals. Because when you do something for other people, you're taking time away from your family. So you're not with your significant other, you're not with your kids, you're not with your friends, you're not with your parents. You're really, when you trade your time for money, you have to measure the opportunity cost of that, sure, but also it's other work you can't be doing right now. If you're at a conference or you're at esports event doing hosting duties, you're not making content. You're not responding to your community. You're not in your emails working with brands. You might not be able to work with a competitor. There's something else going on. It's an opportunity cost. You need to be pricing yourself appropriately. And then the same thing with sponsorships. If there's exclusivity, saying yes to something means saying no to something else. So it needs to be worth it. And so these are the primary income streams that most creators should be using to diversify their portfolio. And this is why you should be trying to make money outside the YouTube Partner Program and AdSense, outside of TikTok, outside of Twitch, etc., etc. So I would say for a lot of people, if they're looking for, I think what's the easiest thing besides AdSense to make from your videos? It's a loaded question. It's a loaded question because that depends. I have graphic design talent. So for me, merchandise might be easier than it would be for you, because in some cases I won't have to hire somebody to help me with that because I understand print and I came from being a traditional graphic designer. So I have that plus artistic ability. So maybe for me, merchandise isn't as much of a lift as it is for you. Then I also know how to market that merchandise. For me, a book was a very lucrative thing to do because I'm a writer. That may be easy for me, but not for you. So what's easy depends on your skills and what's available to you. In a lot of cases, it could be services if you have skills, to be honest with you. That's where I started. It also depends if you're a thought leader versus an influencer. Is your audience broke college kids, or is it people over 35 with disposable income? That makes a difference too. And so it's less a matter of what's easy and what you're suited to and what's the best opportunity for you. So that means, okay, was this in terms of commitment of skills? Was this in commitment of time? When you say easy, is what you mean fast? Is what you mean the least time consuming? Because that's also a matter of skill. Making merch may not be time consuming or hard skill wise for me, but it could be a heavy lift for you. Courses. Courses could be a heavy lift for you, even though it makes a lot of money because maybe you have the expertise, but maybe you don't know how to structure a course. Or maybe you don't have the upfront money to host it on a platform like Kajabi. So when it comes to what's easy, we have to look at time, cost, skill, and we also have to look at audience fit. Otherwise, we're just saying things, we're just spouting things out that don't mean anything. So without knowing what skills you have and what you're best suited to, how much time things take you or how much time you have available, and then also what's the good fit for your audience and whether something is going to cost you upfront money versus somebody else, it's very hard to say what the easiest thing is to do. I would make the argument that usually the easiest way to make money outside of AdSense is probably fan funding from your audience with streaming donations. That's probably the easiest because it doesn't require any specific knowledge and it doesn't require you to do something outside the platform. That is still platform revenue, mind you, but it's very low lift. Same thing with memberships on the platform in terms of fan funding and donations that are monthly recurring memberships on your platform. That's probably another one that's low lift. But again, that still leaves you at platform revenue instead of, well, what's off platform, which is why most people focus on how they can make money on the YouTube platform instead of off platform revenue, which is where my focus is because for them, there's no cost to making money on platform. There's not usually extra knowledge or skills required to do it. The audience is already there, and it's usually less time consuming for them. So, again, that's quote unquote easy mode, but it's not our best opportunities for revenue, stability, security, or scale. So, if we can do long term sponsorships, that's ideal for long term recurring revenue with sponsorships, recurring revenue with our own membership website or subscription service, passive income through products, or big ticket one-time services for active income. Sure, could be active, could be a big payout. Like when I do a private workshop for a company that wants me to teach something like this, they'll fly me out, buy copies of my book, and pay me $5,000 for a service I provide for a day or a weekend. Paid speaking engagements can be anywhere from 3,000 to 10,000 depending on the situation, and it'll be a very similar thing. Some speaking engagements don't pay at all, but because I get to go there and I get to pitch and I get to sell, I could make that same amount of money directly, or I could collaborate with a sponsor and make that money. So there is a situation where that makes some sense. And mods, can you deal with the person who is promoting fake views? Thank you very much. So yeah, so those are just things you want to try to take into consideration when it comes to all of this. And also, I'm gonna pop out the chat so it's easier for me to see the chat. Also, a reminder, by the way, everybody, again, we do have a free Creator Foundations course that can help you if you're not ready for the Awesome Creator Academy Pro Group. So if you're an influencer, how can you make money as an influencer that is not going to coaching and courses and those type of things? Typically for influencers, aside from the platform revenue like YouTube, they're going to do sponsorships and UGC, user generated content, where they do content on a brand's behalf on their social media, the brand's social media, affiliate links like the Amazon influencer program, and merchandise or print on demand products that they sell directly to their audience. So if you're an influencer, now that doesn't mean you can't do sponsorships, membership websites on your own, do a membership website with YouTube, etc. We just kind of include that here in the platform revenue unless you decide to do your own membership website. One of the things I did early on before YouTube started making me any decent money was I did affiliate links with the Amazon affiliate program. And so the Amazon affiliate program was ultimately what worked for me and got me about 1,000, like 1,200 to $1,500 a month with the Amazon influencer program. Back then it was called Amazon Associates. Mostly it was I was because I was in the tech niche, camera gear, camera tutorials I was doing on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I was doing a lot of that. Laptop reviews for video editors, laptop reviews for graphic designers on a budget, laptops under $500, laptops under $1,000. So I was doing really good because you have to remember in a situation like that, to make $1,000 in that situation in a month, I only needed to get 30 to 50 people to buy something in a month. With camera gear, professional camera lenses, if you sell professional camera lenses like the ones I use for YouTube, give you a primary example of this. The lens I'm using right here, this is about a $1,800 lens. The camera is actually right now probably about maybe 1,400 used because it's a Sony A6600. The B camera here is a Sony ZV-E10. The lens on that though is a 14 millimeter lens, which is about $1,400. It's a G Master lens. Professional grade camera lenses, though, $90 commissions. $90 commissions. To make $1,000 with this is relatively like 12 sales. So while sometimes people will clown me, like a video might get 5,000, 10,000 views, right? Especially a camera centric video, a camera review. What they don't understand is I got 10,000 views of people who specifically want camera gear, and those are evergreen views. And that if I were to get on the professional lenses, 10 sales, 12 sales, I've made over $1,000 in that instance. And that's just for those lenses. If they add anything else to cart with Amazon, I make money off of every single other electronic in 24 hours that is added to cart and bought after they click on my link from the cookies. That's crazy. If it's some other budget tech gear, every time somebody buys the Elgato green screen that I have, I believe that I make $10 on that or $8 to $10 on that. So it adds up over a period of time. And when you have hundreds of videos reviewing products, you can make a lot of money from this. If you had 50 or 100 videos that were product centric videos, and let's say you only got 5,000, 10,000 views on them, how many people do you need to buy? And these are just buyers watching this. This is the only reason to watch them. People don't watch tech videos for no reason when it's very specific, when it's niche tech like microphones, drones, camera gear, this creator centric gear. They don't just watch that to watch it. They're in the market usually to buy that, and they at minimum will buy some kind of electronic. So from the Amazon affiliate link side, a person who does things revolving around tech can do very well on the value of the commissions being high. If you're a influencer who does beauty, I've worked with a lot of female content creators. They'll do beauty and lifestyle. Beauty and lifestyle works because they not only can market in YouTube, but it's very lucrative in Instagram and in TikTok. And there are so many opportunities to monetize that. And the affiliate links from that also are their proof of sales that go into their brand deals and their UGC contracts for their UGC partnerships. It's proof of sales, proof of ROI. And so they're able to make money on both ends of that. And it's incredibly profitable for female influencers in the lifestyle niche, the beauty, fashion, makeup, etc. And there's a lot of scale to that from Amazon because of volume, whereas when the tech niche, it's because of the value of the transactions. So you can see why even when I was a smaller content creator, I could make over $1,000 a month in the tech and tech accessories niche with specific regard to video and graphic design production gear in terms of things like drawing tablets, cameras, microphones, lenses, drones, etc., lighting gear, all that stuff. So you understand exactly why that would make money. And this is why, even if you're a small creator, I would say affiliate links and affiliate marketing are a huge opportunity because it's more about the right viewers than how many of them you get. A lot of you are like, ooh, I want a $10 RPM. Oh, I want a $10 CPM. If you could figure out which affiliate links in your niche have the highest payouts, then you could optimize your videos to where you're getting 20, 30, $100 RPMs on every video because you're able to get enough sales to equal those RPMs if you went with the Amazon influencer program. Now, if you get over 20,000 subscribers, you get into the YouTube shopping affiliate program, and the YouTube shopping affiliate program can pay out even higher than Amazon for a lot of its different product categories. The problem is it usually doesn't convert as well as Amazon. Amazon tends to convert better, but it can be done directly through YouTube shopping as well. I would say that Amazon is also more trusted, even though YouTube shopping works with brands like Best Buy and Walmart and Target and so on and so forth. People just have a bias toward Amazon. It is what it is. But again, affiliate revenue from Amazon can be clutch. Now, there are other affiliate programs out there. I usually do a lot with software affiliate programs these days, like Kajabi and 1 of 10, and in the past, TubeBuddy and vidIQ, and so on and so forth. I would tell you that if you're an influencer, you're probably going to do better with physical product affiliate links, and your audience is going to trust that. They're not going to trust digital as much. If you're an influencer, your audience is direct to consumer. They are quote unquote normies. They want tangible products they can hold in their hands. So it's going to be things like the Amazon influencer program for you. If you have direct access to the manufacturer affiliate programs, especially if you're in the beauty niche, I would do that. Ulta is usually a big one for a lot of you who are female influencers in the beauty niche. So I would look at things like that. For you in tech, direct to manufacturer usually is 10 to 15% commissions. That's better than Amazon, but it could be a harder conversion rate for you. Just depends. Remember that you could promote affiliate links in your YouTube community tab. You can promote merch in your YouTube community tab, etc. Sponsorships in UGC. Even if you don't have a big audience, if you go with UGC instead of sponsorships, you don't have to focus on your own views. You focus on production value and you focus on representing the brand well. You focus on reputation, and you can make content for their social media that looks better, sounds better than theirs. And you could be a small creator, but you could do great with UGC and you could make really good money there. You could be making for a 30-second YouTube short or Instagram reel or TikTok for a brand that needs content. You could be doing that for them, and you could be making anywhere from $200 to $2,000 on that. You don't need a big following for that. It's really about quality for them, production value, presentation value, representation, an authentic story, the right look, the right voice. A lot of you don't realize that you can make that with UGC because a lot of you have never done acting or modeling or extra work. So you don't know about the day rates, and you don't realize that also, since you're non-union talent, you are significantly cheaper than union talent. And therefore, paying you $500 is a bargain for something like UGC, maybe even paying you $1,000 for that, and that's on short form. That's on short form, by the way. Um, I remember getting $2,000 for short form UGC that I didn't even have to promote to my audience for doing a less than 30-second testimonial. There are ones that I've done 15 to 30-second testimonials with only 30-day licensing instead of 6-month licensing. $800 for that, and part of it was a favor to a brand, and they'd done some stuff for me in the past, so it was okay. And they also gave me some affiliate commission on top of the $800, but literally it was $800. It was less than an hour of work. I don't even know if it was 30 minutes of work. 30 minutes of work to make $800. You know, like, and that it didn't require any promotion to my audience. So my audience size wasn't the most important thing. So you see that the opportunity there can be incredibly lucrative, even if you're a smaller content creator, if quality is there in production value, and also if representation is there for on-camera talent and authentic story that matches the brand and the audience avatar for the brand, the customer, if you represent the customer. So when I say representation, I mean, do you represent the buying audience? Are you the same community of people they sell to? Now, if you're a thought leader, then I want to highly recommend you get Kajabi, number one. Number two, I would say if you're a thought leader, that one of the most important things is to understand how to build a proper ecosystem around coaching, paid communities, live cohorts, and courses for the passive income side. At some point, I'm going to update this slide deck to talk about the fact that the coaching is active versus the coaching. I'm going to reposition this because the coaching and cohorts are more active, whereas communities and courses can have passive elements to them. And I think that that's kind of an important differentiation. And also, I think that the easiest thing to start with is actually coaching one-on-one is the easiest thing to do immediately to make your money back on your hosting cost and your ROI, because you can just take calls right away and have people pay for them. And then in terms of a paid community, a membership, that's recurring revenue. So the recurring revenue can be there. There can also be recurring revenue in the coaching as well. And the upfront money or multi payments where it's split. So it's not technically recurring revenue, but but it could be direct revenue and multi, and it's upfront. In a sense, is the courses and the cohorts. The cohorts are a hybrid between active and passive income. So is a paid community, depending on your approach to it. Primary example is with Awesome Creator Academy, people get all of our products and any of our courses as long as they're a paying monthly member or yearly member. So there is a way that makes it evergreen in nature, but we also do live office hours twice a week for our community. So there's that aspect to it. One-on-one coaching calls with me, that's clearly not passive, but I charge more for it. So structuring this is highly lucrative. The influencer side is about scale. It's about how many people you can reach. So it's more volume based. I would say the thought leader side is more value based. So it's value based pricing and it's higher ticket for sure. Even for memberships, an influencer can do a $9 a month membership. A thought leader can do a $99 or even $500 a month membership. I know a LinkedIn coach where her community is $500 a month. None of these people are minimum wage, obviously. The people in her community, they're studying LinkedIn. They're all 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs. But she has a caveat. They can only join her $500 a month community if they've ever done one-on-one coaching with her. She only wants to work with people that she's worked with before, and that's who she wants in her paid community. And they meet once a week. So so it's less people clearly, but it's about 25 people, I think is what she told me. But 25 people paying her $500 a month means she has super fans And 25 people paying her over $500 a month by itself gets her pretty close to $10,000 a month. And then she has one-on-one coaching that she does with some people, whether they're in her community or if they want to be, and so on and so forth. So she makes, 10,000 a month as a LinkedIn professional that is helping um, people who want to scale their business and they want to use LinkedIn as a means of doing that. That may be a very different community than any of you. Many of you may be trying to do something more light than that or do entertainment content, etc. But it's just to give you an idea of what's possible. And it's also for anybody who's just in a different situation because we have a mix of thought leaders and influencers here. So I wanted to make that pretty clear for a lot of you. Cohorts. Cohorts you could also just do weekend workshops as cohorts, and you could charge for a weekend workshop. I'll give you a primary example. Let's say if you're watching this, I assume that a lot of you would love to know more about brand deals. And a lot of you would love to do a live workshop with me that includes a Q&A and have it private so that it's maybe only 20 or 30 people, right? So if it was 20 or 30 of you, so you knew it's pretty private, it's pretty exclusive, and you know you'll get personalized attention and you wanted to learn how to do brand deals and UGC. You wanted to do this side of things. You wanted to do brand deals and UGC, which we're going to talk about, and you wanted to learn more about this. I assume that for a lot of you, you would come to a weekend workshop, even if you had to pay $300, if you were going to learn the systems that I've used to get brand deal partnerships where they commit to $36,000 a year, $60,000 a year. How even on my Instagram, where I have 25,000 followers, how I was able to get $9,000 partnerships for my Instagram, 2,000, 5,000, $9,000 partnerships for my Instagram, how to build out packages and deliverables for that, how I got sponsorship for my speaking engagements, how I'm planning to get sponsorship for my book, how I have gotten sponsorship for my newsletter with 15,000 subscribers, how I've gotten $1,000 commitment for my newsletter for that. You would want to know those things, and knowing that if you get even one brand deal, you make all of your money back and you're more informed than you've ever been before that. I think there's a lot of you that would come to a live virtual workshop and pay for a live virtual cohort $300 on a weekend to spend 2 hours focusing on that, and also knowing there's a Q&A component where you can ask specific questions and where you get a role-playing demonstration of negotiating with a brand and haggling over price. We've done that before and people have paid the $300 for it, so I know that that was working. But I just wanted to say to you in the chat, or if you're watching the replay in the comments, is that something that you would value? And I bring it up because a lot of you should probably consider, how can you do a workshop every 90 days where you can get 20 or 30 people to commit 300 or 500 for a workshop if you're a thought leader. Because if you do that, then 20 people in a weekend, even at the low end, $300, that's $6,000 you'd make in a weekend. If you have the capacity to do that every month and to keep it filled up every month, then you should definitely do that. But if you can even do that once a quarter on the low end, you'd make an extra, what, $24,000 a year. On the high end of that, you'd be making an extra 40, $50,000 a year. You'd be making an extra, what, $15,000 in a weekend at the high end. So I think that if a lot of you can go into the concept of workshops, If you can't commit to doing 4 and 6 week cohorts where you charge 3,000 and 5,000 for a cohort of people, that might be 20 to 30, which is what people do. And they'll do those maybe 2 to 4 times a year and make 50 to $100,000 every time they do it. So, they make really good money doing that. People like Pally Galloway, for example, or Ali Abdal, if you can't do a cohort where you commit to 6 weeks of doing live virtual events with people, then I would recommend at least using the cohort model to do workshops once a month, once every other month, or once a quarter. If you're a thought leader and charging $300 to $500 for those workshops, maybe you make it worth their while and you include some other value. Like for me, for example, I'd probably use it as a way to pre-sell the course that I'm going to sell on brand deals is going to be like a $6.99 course. I could say, well, how about if you guys do a $2.99 workshop? I'll give you the course when it's ready. So you already owed the course, but the real value is we'll give you a 2 hour workshop at half the price of the course, throw in the course when it's ready for free, and it's a way of doing a pre-order. But you get upfront value even before you ever get the course. So that'd be a strategy you guys could use. And then you're able to pre-launch and pre-sell a course. You're also able to get feedback and testimonials because you can use the content you're going to do for a course, teach it in the cohort before the videos have been made, use the other materials and do it live, do a live version essentially of the course, use it as a pre-launch strategy, also gather testimonials, but also hopefully case studies if people use it successfully and get the information. And then you have that. You also can go back to those people if they've been successful and then ask them if they want to join your community, and you can cross sell them into your community or into coaching one-on-one so they have access for their specific questions. So then the cohort can be a lead funnel for one-on-one coaching if they valued the group Q&A and the session as a whole, then maybe they'd value one-on-one time with you. And so you could go directly to coaching, et cetera, et cetera. We offer a free course right now. It's about a 5 hour course. We offer a free course called Creator Foundations. We highly encourage everybody to take it because we think it will clear up a lot of your confusion and bring you clarity as a content creator of what to focus on, what matters more, what matters most. We even have a 90-minute monetization masterclass that was from me doing an in-person workshop at a live event in New York. I was physically in person in New York in a room of about, I want to say 80 or 100 creators. The event company that hosted this is no longer around. So we took the 90-minute live in-person workshop and we put it into our free 5 hour course, Creator Foundations. We also have a free community through Discord. I'm not personally going to be in there every day, but I do pop in a couple of times a week and answer some questions. But I built a community for you guys to have an open study hall. So I built a Discord server called Creator Foundations where you can connect with other creators in case you're not in a position to do the Academy Pro group and join us there and do the twice a week office hours and do that with me virtually and my team. We have the Creator Foundations Discord server for you. So we created a way to get a taste of the things we could offer. I would encourage you guys as thought leaders to take my model here and to replicate my model even with the free course, the way I do, and then we'll get to other ways you can make up to $1,000, and what the breakdown of cost versus margin is on each of these. But I bring this up to teach you that you should do what I'm doing in this particular case. And what I would tell you to do is this. I think that all of you should look at how you can make a free course the way I did, but make it a pay what you can, pay what you want course that starts at $0. Our Creator Foundations course is a $0 course, but if you want to give me $5 for it, $10 for it, $20, knowing that YouTube takes 30% of a super chat, if you want a way to support me, this is a good way to do it besides buying my book. And it gives you something that's truly valuable because you're getting about a 5 hour course, and we're even going to add to it later. We have another 7 or 8 lectures we want to put in there Plus, there's another module that I want to add about creator mental health that we want to add to this course. So I think that all of you should figure out, if you're a thought leader, how can you make a free slash pay what you want, pay what you can course? I recommend Kajabi for this. But the way you make your money for paying for something like Kajabi is offering one-on-one coaching calls. And you should offer that. I offer that, obviously. I think your recurring revenue comes from a community. And I think a really good strategy is also to do cohorts or workshops. If you can't do a long cohort, you do a workshop. And then I think that that allows you, between the cohort model and the coaching model, to make faster active income and cash flow. When you do courses, it becomes passive income cash flow. But to eliminate the skepticism around the courses, you should go ahead and show them something for free that they can try before they buy, and have a structured course experience where they see your ability to create value at low risk. I also think that then, by having a free community tier like a Discord server, you can start to help people see the value of communities in general. So then they are more prepared to see, well, what would a more intimate experience be like that could be behind a paywall, that's more curated, where there could be higher value players and networking opportunities, or just a tighter knit group, more intimacy. So communities. So I think that there's a version of that. As for coaching, I don't know that you should give your time away for free in that way. The way I do it is on X, people can ask me questions publicly and I'll answer them. And then also, people do low ticket in the sense of when we do the Friday channel reviews, people get a sense of what value I could be creating for them if they worked with me one-on-one. And it's a low risk way for people to at least try that out. So those are things that I think are an experience. And then obviously right now you guys are in a free workshop, but I have sponsors helping me put this on, and we also are monetizing it with ad revenue, and also our own offers and our affiliate links. So we have a way to basically make sure that if you're doing education-based content, this is a structure of how that goes from free and low ticket to paid and high ticket, in a way that creates value for viewers and also demonstrates your capacity to actually help them in a low risk way that makes sense. And again, we already covered the influencer stuff. We're going to break some more of that down, though. Here is what the $1,000 breakdown for almost all of the income streams actually are. Obviously, if you can do a UGC brand deal for $1,000, it's a one-to-one transaction. That's the $1,000 there. If you sell a course for $500, two of them, $1,000. So that's why we'd go with the higher end for these things. Down into the lower end, if you do a $100 product like the YouTube starter kit or the brand deal starter kit, something that's not a course, maybe it's a resource bundle, maybe it's templates, maybe it's a PDF library, maybe it's Notion templates or systems, then ultimately I would say 10 of those sales, $1,000. If you have some other kind of digital download that's maybe something cheaper than that, then obviously 20 sales to get you to $1,000. I think it's easier to make 10 sales at 100 than 20 sales at 50. Sometimes that's more of a confidence issue. Now, because of the profit margin on print on demand and the fact that you have to pay, let the profits come from fulfillment and also the making of the merchandise and so on and so forth, and you just get whatever's left with print on demand, but you have zero upfront cost. If you sell $40 hoodies, you'd have to sell about 40 of them to make $1,000. And the reason is because you have cost against that. It's not coming out of your pocket, but it comes out of profit when you're talking about print on demand. The same thing for other types of merchandise. $20 t-shirts, you're gonna have to sell about 80 of your $20 t-shirts to be able to make $1,000. I do a book on Amazon. My book is $14.99. It's called Create Something Awesome: How Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion on the Creator Economy. I have a 70-30 royalty split with Amazon. The deal with that is that with Amazon on the ebook side, it's $9.99 on the ebook side. So I make about just under $7 because they also have bandwidth fees. So I make just under $7 on that. If I order them myself as author copies, printing them up and having them shipped to me cost me about roughly $4 a book. If I sell them at full retail at 15, then basically I get to keep about 10, $11 on those transactions. However, if I sell directly on Amazon at $15, Amazon has cost and shipping and so on and so forth. So then I'm back down to about somewhere between $6 and $7 on those physical sales. Now on the hardcover, which is $24.99, I believe, I make closer to $8 on that. So as I said, it's roughly 150 book sales to make $1,000 on Amazon. I've sold on Amazon well over 3,500 copies of my book, I believe. We sold through Ingram. We sold another 1,000. We sold another, I forget how many between Google Books and Apple Books, um, and another EPUB marketplace. We also had some directly that I sold in person at events. We had some that were ordered by brands that I sold directly to them by having them ordered, and then that doesn't show up in the Amazon sales. So we know we've done over 5,000 copies sold, and then I gave away 500 copies through Goodreads. So we know that we've done over 5,000 copies of my book sold since the end. I launched at the end of 2022. So it's not 3 years yet. It's only 2.5 years. And we've sold more than 5,000 copies. I don't want to say 6,000, but 5,000 is the conservative estimate. It's probably more than that. If you do smaller digital downloads like we do for example, we have a Chat GPT creator prompts thing that we sell. We sell 200 creator prompts for ChatGPT. We also have updated that recently. It's about $9. You'd have to sell 100 of those to make $1,000. If you do very cheap print on demand, like sticker pack or something like that, or bookmarks, at $7, you'd have to sell 350 of those after cost to make $1,000. And then if you were to do the bounties for Audible free affiliates, like Amazon's influencer program has bounties for just generating leads, free signups, doesn't even cost them anything. Free signups to Audible, you get $5 bounties for that. You'd have to get 200 of those to make $1,000. So now you know exactly how to make $1,000 online, and you understand the cost and profit margin and what amount of units you have to do through all these different methods. We have, I think here we listed more than 10 different ways to make $1,000 online, and we broke them down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, that's 10. How to make $1,000. I might do a video, 15 ways to make $1,000 online. That might be a really good video for me to make. So let's see. YouTube monetization, 15 methods. So a lot of these we covered earlier, but it's good for you guys just to have a list here. This will probably end up being a YouTube video itself. I've made revenue from long form ads. I've made very little from shorts because I don't make as many shorts. But if I did, oh, I could make some money. I just have to make them ones that'll get a lot of views. YouTube premium revenue. And I showed you my earnings on that. YouTube shopping affiliate. There's also YouTube shopping merch. You have the YouTube supers. There's 3 flavors of supers. You have YouTube brand connect. I've worked with a brand through brand connect before. YouTube's new gifts for vertical live streams. I'm not currently doing vertical live streams on my main channel, so I'm not earning with that. Um, Getting the music channel remonetized, I could do vertical ongoing loops of chill music for people, and then I could probably get the gifts through that for vertical streaming on the music channel. So probably that. Um, YouTube channel members. You can license content. Like I said, I licensed a course to LinkedIn. They paid me up front for that, and I've been getting several $100s a month for years off of that. It was a video marketing course on LinkedIn. They flew me out to Carpinteria for that. I think it was during the 2018 fires that happened, and then we had to redo it again in the new year. So like 2018, 2019, they flew me out to Carpinteria, California, to LinkedIn's offices out there. I filmed at the LinkedIn studio. They handled the editing and production. I did all the script and performance and structure for it, the outline, the curriculum, everything. I licensed them that course. They paid me upfront money in addition to flying me out and feeding me. And then they paid me a royalty on that every month in perpetuity, and they still pay me for that years later. It's not as much as it used to be, but I've made hundreds of dollars a month over the years from that. So suffice to say, I believe I cleared over $12,000 to $16,000. I don't remember. I'd have to look on licensing them that content and doing it one time. So that was really lucrative for me. We gathered, I've never published the testimonials or case study from that. I probably should, because we got over 1,000 positive reviews, I believe, on that LinkedIn course. It was something like between 800 and 1,000 positive reviews last I checked. It's been a while. Sponsorships. We covered that. We can cover that more in depth at another time. We've done workshops on sponsorships on this channel. We've done 2 and 3 hour workshops here about that. And UGC partnerships, where you create content for the brands directly on their social media platforms, digital downloads, courses, and affiliate links. So these are all different ways you could monetize on YouTube and make money. Now, in my opinion, digital products might be one of the most lucrative ways to make money on YouTube. Now, in terms of ad-free content, this could be ad-free content that could be locked behind paywalls on different platforms. So there could be a way to do that. You could also make a membership website where you just do ad-free versions of your content plus exclusives and bonuses and make people pay for an archive. Well, why would they pay $9 a month, Roberto, instead of doing Netflix? Because the content they're wanting from you isn't on Netflix. That would be why. So, just consider that there are people in your audience and you can create super fans who might actually do that. I would love for you guys to have more confidence in trying that sort of thing. Templates, if you have a skill set like building Notion or building systems or graphic design, templates make sense. For thought leaders, courses and info products make sense. Um, Books and audiobooks, even streaming music, if done in high enough numbers and volume, both volume in terms of you creating something like your own discography and that being deep and having a bunch of music. My friend Frost FM, for example, who also helped me with my own produce my royalty music. That could be lucrative for you. If I had more books, let's say I had written 10 different books in my time, I would probably be able to cover my living expenses if I were a person who had wrote, oh, excuse me, if I had wrote 10 books, and if I also had those books, like if I wrote 10 books, I would be able to cover probably almost all my living expenses every single month. At least I'd be able to pay my mortgage every month for sure. But if I had 10 books and I had audiobooks for all of them, and I also had the ebooks, print books, and audiobooks in multiple languages, or license them to a publisher for that, then I would for sure be making 12,000 plus dollars a month from that. Even in the category that I'm in, I would be doing very well. I'd be able to make a full-time living just off of the book publishing for that, as long as I had all the rights for the most part, and I had the 70-30 split with Amazon. That would make all the difference. So we have a question. What is the best way to determine the type of product your audience wants or needs the most? A lot of it could be feedback. That's a great question. It could be feedback. It could be looking at where they spend their money already and being able to determine that. It could be looking at what the bigger channels in your niche are doing and what their business model outside of AdSense is. You'd have to find one that has a business model that exists outside of AdSense, and you'd want to replicate that. So I would study the success of larger content creators if you don't know the answer for yourself based on feedback from your community. I'd find someone who serves a similar community but is more successful than you, and I would steal their business model. When you can't figure out how to do that, that's what people hire Roberto for. So physical products don't have to be the same as digital products. And like I said, physical products could be done through Amazon or YouTube's affiliate program, and you could sell physical products that way instead of manufacturing themselves. Instead of manufacturing physical products yourself, you could also do a co-branded relationship with a manufacturer, and then just have them put your branding and face on it, and you guys do a co-branded product together. Peter McKinnon worked with Polar Pro for ND filters and lens filters. Peter McKinnon worked with Nomadic for building his ultimate camera bag. Those would just be examples. There are plenty of other examples out there, but that's a very relevant one for this audience. And then physical products can be physical books, CDs, and DVDs. And of course, there are print on demand products, and we've covered quite a bit of that. So I think the margin's better on digital, but there's no reason you can't do physical. Some of you, like me, it would make sense to do both. Some will be more successful than others. I've actually done significantly more sales of my book than I've ever done of my merchandise. Now, I think when I drop the Big Creator Energy merch, that could change. I could end up doing a lot more on the merchandise based on that branding. So we'll see. UGC and paid sponsorships. So a lot of you don't realize there's opportunities for ambassadorship, and that can be recurring throughout a year and be a year-long contract, and you can make obligations like I do for speaking engagements and such. There's individual content. You could negotiate sales commissions for leads or sales. You could also do licensing to brands of the UGC content or even content that you co-brand. I've done that for things like hosting webinars for brands in the software as a service space. So that is something that can be incredibly valuable for you. And this is something that I teach the creators in the Academy Pro group. We talk about sponsorships and UGC and pricing that stuff all the time. My friend Justin Moore, he specializes in that. I take a holistic and well-rounded approach to making money as a content creator. He focuses exclusively on the sponsorship side. I tie the sponsorship also to the ability to sometimes get affiliate revenue or commissions, and also looking for other forms of relationship through things like affiliate marketing, potentially the ambassadorship, and doing in-person event activities. And as someone who's a public speaker and has done workshops and has also done pop-ups, I have a deep familiarity with this. So again, this is something I teach one-on-one with a lot of creators. This is where a lot of my coaching comes in when we add it together with these other ways of making money. But at the same time, we talk a lot about this in the Academy Pro group, and I talk a lot about this one-on-one. We also will be doing a specific course around this, and we'll probably be doing a paid workshop that people can attend around this to help launch that brand deals course. For an example of an affiliate partnership that also led to a sponsored relationship, I used to do this with TubeBuddy. They've changed their affiliate program. It's no longer lifetime affiliate, but I did a lot of good work for them, and I use this to this day to demonstrate the results that I can create for software as a service companies that I partner with. I would encourage all of you to make a media kit. This is a page from my media kit, and what I would tell you is that when it comes to having a media kit, 90% of creators don't have one. They straight up don't. Um, the other thing is they don't often include any kind of case study of what they've done for people, like ever. So that is something that I think people don't look at. I include case studies like this to say, if you have a product that's in this price range as far as software, here's what I've done for a previous partner. Would you like me to do this for you? Well, let's work that out. So we talk about it and then we end up pitching that. And then to circle back to something real quick, we have two questions that they weren't super chats, but I can answer them here. Um, Terry W says, my burning question is, Terry W says, my burning question is, how can a new channel with minimum startup views make its first $5? What's the most realistic path, or do I need to wait for views to increase? Your first $5, it's a buy me a coffee link or an Amazon affiliate link, most likely. If you're just starting out like that, it's usually fan funding of some kind. But also, I would try to build up the audience. If you're trying to put energy into monetization when you haven't even built the following, established the mission, established a community, then you're splitting your energy in a lot of different ways. It's really intense for me. Like the reason people don't realize that, like I have, in addition to everything I do with, there's a lot of physical prep in everything I do and hosting, workshops once a week on YouTube, doing channel reviews once a week on YouTube, constantly doing stuff on X to help my community, popping into the Discord server, twice a week office hours for creators, multiple coaching calls, every single week, multiple coaching calls. There's a lot that I do, and I work a full, for the most part, at this point in my life, I'm working anywhere from 40 to 60 hours a week. I'm here with you guys. I literally got in off of a plane 7 a.m. this morning on a red eye coming from California, after speaking the last 3 days at a conference. I gave two full presentations at a conference, Social Media Marketing World, did some content for my brand, some UGC and some content, co-branded content for Kajabi while I was there. Had to put together two presentations, put together this presentation for you guys for this workshop. Um, like I just came off of speaking 3 days, 72 hours, and doing a meetup while I was there. So I did 72 hours of that as a speaker. And I'm doing this workshop tonight after getting in at 7 a.m. this morning, and I still did admin work today. I still did stuff on X today. I still did admin work, uh, emails. I still did some follow-up and admin work on the back end of Awesome Creator Academy and the pro group. We had some new members join. Um, I had to do an onboarding call for a new member today. Like I work sometimes, if not 50 to 60 hours plus a week. If I were trying to do that and also get my audience off of the ground, it would be near impossible. There's a reason why I'm not back to doing 10,000 subscribers a month and growing the channel to 1 million subscribers, is because I'm literally doing so many things, and a lot of them are revenue drivers and revenue centric and maintenance mode task and building stuff. And I've been doing things to increase the quality. You guys see the new tech setup. You guys see that we have a 3 camera setup now. Plus we've been doing the presentation decks. I make two presentation decks a week on top of everything else. So I'm still practically doing graphic design work. I say all this not as a brag or to make anyone feel bad. I'm saying I want you to imagine the detriment to pure audience growth that comes from the amount of things I have to do. I'm still trying to carve out time to do the newsletter again because I want to get the newsletter to 2 to 3 times a week, believe it or not. And I'm writing a second book. You see, I have way too many things pulling me in different directions to focus on growing the channel as big as the channel could be, And growing the channel as big as the channel could also be lucrative. It could also be lucrative. I'm just taking a hedge that doing these things right now matter a lot, and I really want to do these things. So the point that I'm making is if your goal is to grow your channel and have an audience, which gives you the leverage to monetize, I understand that it might be very motivating or fulfilling to make that first $5, first $10, first $100. Most of you, in my view, shouldn't focus on it right away. Your first thing you should focus on is your YouTube milestones of your first 1,000 subscribers, your first 1,000 hours of watch time, getting that first super chat from your first live stream going. Like, I know how fulfilling and emotionally gratifying it is to get paid for the work that you do as a content creator instead of as an employee. But I'm saying that it's very hard to serve two masters, even for me. And it's very hard to balance growth and monetization, which is why most of the biggest creators, they just focus on ad revenue and brand deals, and they put someone on their team in charge of a merch drop, believe it or not. And a lot of them just end it there because they're focused on becoming the biggest creator they can, because a lot of them, that's just their goal. So that's why also thought leaders also don't necessarily become huge content creators, because they run actual businesses a lot of the time. So hopefully that makes sense. It's just a matter of you have to decide what matters more, what matters most. And I'm in a revenue phase of life. That's what being 40 looks like. That's what having a mortgage looks like. I'm in the revenue phase of life. So I am not as prioritizing nearly as much. Oh, how do I get back to 10,000 subscribers a month? Because when I did that, I didn't have nearly as many things going on pulling my attention. We got Axe Papa in the house, who's also now a member of Awesome Creator Academy. Thank you. Axe Papa says, "Thank you, Roberto, for working so hard for us. We appreciate you. I joined the pro group. We'll be scheduling my onboarding call soon." Yep, I saw that. I'm glad to hear it. We love having you. I think you're going to do great things. You're already doing great things. You actually are one of the most successful growth stories from the Friday channel review sessions. So good job there. Um, we have Dex, not Dexter. How's it going, man? Dex says, "Hey, Roberto, in a previous workshop Wednesday, you talked about how a political channel has a high potential to make money on YouTube. Could that work for a faceless channel?" Actually, there are several faceless politics channels that are doing that, and they do it very, very successfully. I'm not thinking of any off the top of my head, but faceless channels in general can do very well. My favorite faceless channel is probably Magnates Media, How Money Works. How Money Works does great about financial literacy, but he also has a slant of some economic populism. I don't agree with every single thing he says, so I'm not endorsing anybody, but I love his content and I love him as a creator. He also has a history channel, How History Works. I love that channel as well. So I would say that a faceless channel absolutely can make lucrative revenue when it's in a lucrative niche like that, and when it's consistent and when it knows what its audience wants. And I think they can be very good. Let's see. The Determined Gardener says, "How do you even start with UGC? Do you reach out to the brands themselves?" There's a lot I could go into with UGC. I'm even going to make it, even though we're going to cover it in the sponsorship course, I'm going to make it its own course, because my model and thought around UGC is, and I've debated for a long time building a UGC agency. Actually, I've been debating building a UGC agency. You could even do a faceless UGC agency if you're product centric and you're doing on camera like product reviews. If you were doing like on camera product reviews for physical things, you could do like a top down setup. You could do a flat lay, and you could do some very Instagram centric content both for photo and video, and you could absolutely kill it by building a UGC agency. But a UGC agency would most likely also have to probably be very niche specific, like beauty or tech or something like that. And the production value would have to be great. And so I think it is, cinematic, faceless, top down stuff, hand model type stuff would work for a UGC agency. For that, if you're going the agency route, it's pitching brands. Now, influencers love brands to come to them. I'm against just having brands come to you. My thing is whether you're doing faceless or on camera, my thing is making a list of 100 brands that you would say yes to, your 100 approved brands. Because what it should be is you should be able to look at the biggest influencers in your niche, top 10 influencers in your niche, gather 10 brands that they all work with, and get 10, 20 brands among the top 10 influencers. You'll be able to get 20 brands. Every one of those brands has a competitor. Get their 4 competitors. You have a list of 100 companies that you could work with that sponsor creators in your niche now. So now you have a Dream 100 list. You narrow it down to your favorites and you pitch them. If pitching your favorites doesn't work, what you do is if you get a no, not a maybe, but a no, you move on and you go to their direct competitors, and you should know who the 4 competitors to them are. And then you should also kind of start building out, well, who do they work with and who have they worked with in the influencer space or thought leader space? And what's the example of that content? And you should be building that out in a spreadsheet. This is something we actually teach in the brand deals starter kit. That's a $99 product we sell. We do have a coupon for that. Coupon 20 off gets you $20 off or 20% off, basically the same thing. Mods, can we post a link to the brand deal starter kit in the chat? I'll add it to the description of the video, but can we post that in the chat for the brand deal starter kit and make sure they have the coupon code 20 off and that they know they can get 20 bucks off, 20% off of that. It's usually $99. We also in there have a master list of over 100 brands that work with influencers. They may or may not be in your niche, but at least you know here's 100 companies that have paid content creators at some point. So you have somewhere to start. We give you a how-to guide in there. All right, here's how to find a contact. And then we give you 12 email templates for here's how to write the email, reaching out to them. Because, okay, you have the contact, you know which brands pay. A lot of you, you're going to freeze up and checking out when you have to write an email because you want to, oh God, what do I say? Oh, I don't want to offend them. Oh, I don't even know how to ask for this. Oh, I'm just not going to bother. The reason a lot of you don't bother to do outreach is you don't know how to, and you've never cold emailed anyone, and you have no experience of what that could or should look like or what people would even say yes to. So we just wrote the 12 bloody emails for you. A lot of you, you don't know what a contract should look like. We gave you a list of contract red flags, and we gave you 10 sample contracts. You know how we made the sample contracts? We took old contracts of mine from real companies from years ago, and we had ChatGPT strip out all the personal information from those contracts for me and the company. And we had ChatGPT rework the terms of my old contracts when I didn't know as much as I know now to be more favorable to the creator specifically. Now, we're not lawyers. We don't take any legal liability for these. These contracts are sample contracts to help you set expectations and to know what is good and what is not. That's all their purpose is. They are for training purposes only. So, but they are better than you just not knowing and being blind. So those are things we have in the brand deal starter kit, as well as 3 designed customized media kit templates. You can change those in Photoshop. You also can use Adobe Express if you don't pay for Photoshop. Photoshop's only 10 bucks a month. You really should just have it as a content creator at this point for your thumbnails. But also with these media kits, you can design this. This is basically how you pitch brands, is you can have your media kit, you can have your case studies, you can have your examples, you could have your rates or not have your rates. So we give you media kit templates you can customize based on the years and years of my media kit templates and ones I've designed for people in the past when I used to offer that as a service. The other thing we did was, like I said, we give you the pitch emails. We tell you how to find the information for, okay, besides hunt, there's ways you can do it. The easiest way is to hunt down a contact in LinkedIn who works at the company and go, here's the company out of my Dream 100 list. Okay, go to LinkedIn, go to the employees tab. Oh, look for somebody in marketing. Oh, I found a contact to outreach to pitch a brand deal. So, but then, oh crap, I don't know what to say. So that's why you need the email template. Oh, I don't know what to say. Oh, here's what to say. Oh, I don't know how to price myself. Oh, here you go. So we make it really simple. That's the general idea. Now, again, I don't necessarily recommend doing this when you're hyper small, not because you'll get a no, but because in general, one, you don't necessarily have the confidence on deck yet if you haven't built the audience. Two, you have to know how to do the UGC side. You'd have to know, okay, look at examples of what they paid for before in the past, understand and look at what the production value has to be, what the representation has to be. It's not always about being a big influencer, it's about being the right influencer. My size does not make me the right guy to pitch for Ulta makeup. Okay. I'm not the right fit for that. I'm not the best brand ambassador in the world for Ulta makeup. For Sony cameras, that's another story. For Shure microphones or DJI microphones or DJI drones, absolutely. I'm probably not the best brand influencer for L'Oreal, even though I use their acne products. Maybe Teach Hanley, but certainly not Ulta or L'Oreal. So you get my point. The thing you want to do is brand fit matters with UGC, and it matters with pitching, and audience alignment is the key to this. So that is something you really want to focus on. With the user generated content, another component of it is licensing of how long do they have a license for this. It's also you can charge based on exclusivity of working with them and not their competitors. Right now, I'm working with Kajabi, so I'm not working with their competitors. Makes perfect sense. So it's about deliverables, exclusivity, amplification you can offer by having multiple platforms, and licensing agreements. And those are usually the four levers that I use to control pricing outside of how big your audience is. So this is why I say audience size can play a role, but it doesn't always matter as much as you think if these levers make sense, because then you're going off an agency model. I came from the world of working at an ad agency. So what I teach a lot of you about business and about sales and marketing, I worked at an ad agency. I worked at the kind of company that would be paying you to do things for a brand. Okay. And that's not what we did when I worked at the agency. This is years and years ago. This is like, in my early 20s in my career. This is like 15 years ago, right? So this is 15 years ago, 16 years ago in my career. I worked in advertising. I worked in advertising. I did pitches in the meetings. So I did the pitch meetings. We did spec work sometimes. So I know how to do outreach and things like that. There's pitch fees, there's upfront like fees on some of the spec work plus contingency. There are kill fees, things like that. So I teach you a lot of the principles of creative services because as content creators, you're creative entrepreneurs. But a lot of you out there, every time you guys do this stuff, you got to understand you're not an employee of YouTube. You're a contractor. You are a media mercenary. Okay. You're a media mercenary. You're a freelancer. You are a hired gun. Pew pew. So you need to act like it. And that means you need to understand your value and you need to be doing value-based pricing instead of view-based pricing. And the way you do value-based pricing, it's not you making up an idea in your head, oh, here's how much I want. It's understanding here are deliverables, and every one of these line items is work for me and or my team. So deliverables matter. Exclusivity matters because there's an opportunity cost of working only with you in this category. Category exclusivity. Category exclusivity matters. If I say yes to you, I'm saying no to something else. It's also a matter of my own bandwidth and what I can support with my bandwidth and mental health. So, okay, saying yes to you is saying yes, no to these upward opportunities. Saying yes to you is also saying no to things in your personal life. When you say yes to a brand, you're saying no to your spouse. When you say yes to a brand, you're saying no to your kid. When you say yes to a brand, you're saying no to other opportunities or other things that matter to you. You should price that in. So that's why exclusivity is a thing. Okay. Amplification. The fact that you can use your platform to amplify awareness of their existing campaigns, other influencers, people they might be trying to bring up, other content they're putting out, the content you did with them repurposed across brands, that's amplification. Your newsletter access, that could be amplification. So you have ways of boosting signal. That's a commodity that you can sell to brands. Licensing. Licensing to the content, licensing to many of your B-roll or other assets, licensing to product photography you shot, licensing to use your name, image, likeness, and a testimonial. Those are all valuable commodities. Licensing durations, 30 days, 90 days, 120 days, 6 months, 12 months. Perpetuity. Those are pricing levers. So Value-based pricing isn't just making something up. And a lot of people like say, no, you have to have something concrete like views. No, you don't. There are other considerations. And I know that because I worked at an ad agency. And who do you think is paying you? It's ad agencies and PR companies and brands directly. I worked in that world on the business side. I've been on the other side. So I know exactly what to do. That's where I'm coming from. So that's why I tried to teach you. And that's why my model for sponsorship and for UGC is to take the approach of an agency. It's not just about people coming to you off the street, but they can. And it's about knowing your rates, knowing your value, being able to say, well, what's the creative brief? Okay, great. We're going to generate a scope of work. Okay. We're going to price these things in. All right. We're going to negotiate and haggle. And now we're going to come to an agreement that's going to be put in the contract. Okay. I'm going to redline everything I don't like in the contract. You're going to review it. Okay. Legal approves. Great. We have a deadline. We have this. Okay. We have these revisions built in. We have all of this. Okay. I'm going to do what's within the scope of work. All right. I might throw in a little extra here there because I want the relationship. All right. And now this is fantastic. What about longer commitment? Let's get a 6-month deal in. Let's get a 6-month contract. Let's get a 12-month contract. Let's lock this down. Let's have a long-term relationship here. That's how you should be approaching things. That's what I teach. That's my methodology. So when I look at, okay, how are we going to do this? I'm not looking about what is fast or easy. I'm looking at building systems of what's practical, duplicatable. How are we going to get returning brand clients? How are we going to hit them up for renewals? All right, you did great work with a brand. Do you have a 30-day alarm and reminder set to follow up with them and ask them for another opportunity? What about a 90-day reminder for another opportunity? Do you have an alarm and a notification in your systems to tell you when the expiration date on licensing is, so you can hit them and say, hey, do you want to renew that license? Do you want to keep using my stuff? Because then that's free money. The work's already done. You can just renew a license. And that's another revenue stream. This is why I said licensing content, another revenue stream. So again, it's things like that. As I said earlier, this is a case study from work I did with TubeBuddy. I use that as leverage in my negotiations and in my pitches, in my media kit. Like I said, in the brand deal starter kit, we give you editable media kits. For business owners on YouTube, and I think of myself, of course, as one, with me leading Awesome Creator Academy and coaching creators. But before that, it was my client services business working, doing the social media management for brands' accounts on social media. Before that was my freelance clients doing video editing and graphic design work for them. Writing as well. I used to make $1,200 a month as a freelance writer. That's why, for me, writing a book was natural. I say that everything is about generating traffic, building trust, and earning transactions. So traffic, trust, transaction. This is what I believe in for business owners. And I think you have to accomplish that with great content and irresistible offers. So one of the things when it comes to building a content strategy, something we've talked about and something we do talk about, if I change this to the context of what is the content strategy and what are the content pillars that a business owner needs on YouTube, I would say that if you're a business owner and you're going to put your business out there on YouTube, then I would say you need gateway content that introduces people to the subject matter that you're an expert on or that you're trying to help them understand. And this is basically the thought leader model. So it's gateway content. My gateway content is obviously how to get 4,000 hours of watch time on YouTube, how to get monetized, how to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's my gateway content. The authority and hero content. This is when I post things like my speaking engagements. That's authority content. This is when I post things where a great opportunity happened for me and I try to teach you how to get a similar opportunity. Those would be pieces of authority content, let's say. Or when I get to really demonstrate a result that I produced or expertise or make a large claim or present a big case study, that's authority content. That may not get a lot of views, but it gives me higher credibility and potential sponsorship opportunities and high ticket clients. So that's why I posted my keynotes. My keynotes exist on YouTube. They do not have a lot of views, But what they show is that I'm a great public speaker and I'm a great brand ambassador. So having those low view videos on YouTube made me tens upon tens of thousands of dollars off of speaking engagements per year. So it was valuable. Even though it got lower views, it got me views from people with deep, deep pockets. So it mattered. Evergreen content. This is the majority of my content on YouTube, and this is where my high RPMs and ad revenue came from. This is also what grew me from 0 to 100,000 subscribers. This is what has grown me largely to 600,000 subscribers, is evergreen content that keeps getting views. It's mostly search-friendly content. A lot of people underestimate this and they don't approve because they don't get views up front and they feel like it's embarrassing for them. I can show you an example of this right now. And in fact, I can show you two examples of this right now. Well, actually, I'll do you one better. I can show you three examples of this right now. We'll just switch over my screen. I'll show you three examples of this strategy and why it's so powerful, but why people are reluctant to do it. And where even some of my criticism of why do you teach YouTube? But it's like, but it doesn't matter because every video I post, it doesn't work out, but it has the potential to work out. And the key to it and secret to it in analytics is thus. So in analytics, what I can show you is I'm going to show you the analytics on a video right now that's getting its views from external, and those external views, it's a video that's doing very low. It's like I upload this video, I have this huge audience, so why does this video not have 1,000 views yet? And why is this video technically still going to be successful? It's because this video is getting all of its traffic from being the #1 video in Google search for the topic. It is the #1 video in Google search for the topic. And what is the topic? It is how to add background music to videos in Adobe Premiere Pro 2025. It is also the shortest video on how to do this, while being the most complete video on how to do this without being a YouTube short. It is based on my third best video of all time. That's a regular video, not a live stream, that has over 760,000 views, is what this one is based on. It's an update video. And so this video is going to do well long term because it's ranking in Google search and it eventually will pick up more in YouTube search. It doesn't need the algorithm. This is a non-algorithm video. That's why it's not getting its views up front. It will get its views long term. The proof of concept for this is this video, and I will show you how this video performed originally. So if we did the first 24 hours, how did this video do in its first 24 hours? This video did abysmal in its first 24 hours. This would have been an embarrassment, should have been an embarrassment. You have so many subscribers. Why did this do so bad? Well, in the long game, that is the marathon of YouTube, it's almost at 300,000 views. So it did like very few views its first day, did very poorly its first 3 months, but then gradually, slowly but surely, it got all of its views from Google and from dominating YouTube search as well. But it took a good while for that to happen. And now it's still getting hundreds of views, sometimes 1,000 views every single day in YouTube after the fact. After the fact. There's a video that I did about maybe 2 months ago that is now on a similar trajectory. This is a video about using copyright-free music in YouTube. A lot of you may have watched this video. How did it do in its first 24 hours? In its first 24 hours, 2,000 views. Oh, how embarrassing for a channel your size. Not really, because let's look at the long game here. This video is not even that old yet. Let's look at the long game. So this video starts getting some traction fairly early as far as I'm concerned. and it's getting about 100 to 200 views per day. Now it's currently at about 300 views per day. This video could go to 300 to 500 views per day. And it's all because it's ranking in Google search, where more than half its traffic comes from, and then YouTube search. And that accounts for almost 90% of all of its views. And so this video is now, it doesn't look so bad at 15,000 views, but it's growing every single day. So we have no doubt that this is going to be eventually a very good video for me. And this has decent watch time on it. It's a short video, but that was the point. The point was to make the shortest video on a searchable topic possible. That was my strategy. So we have this one as its previous history as the foundation for these other videos and their trajectory. So this video, from about 3 months ago. That's its trajectory. And so that's where we're going now with this same video concept for this tutorial video. And tutorial videos on software and how-tos have been the bread and butter of this channel since the very beginning. So that is why those videos, again, initially low performance, but can do very well over time. Also, the click-through rate is an average. Don't be fully deceived by it. Click-through rates are an average. This says 1.7, but it's actually currently at 3.2. But click-through rates are an average. If we click on see more, it's an average also across traffic sources. Because if we look at the metric of traffic source, we're going to see that, and we did this in the analytics session. By traffic source, things get to be very interesting. So you see that it doesn't do well on the home page, but it does well in these other traffic sources, sometimes 2 to 3 times better. So context matters there. It's also an average over time as well. So we know that the trajectory for this, in terms of its capacity for views, is this could easily go from a video that struggled to get 1,000 views to becoming a video that is able to get hundreds of views per day, because we've seen how that works for similar topics, and it's also based on demand. And Adobe has a big range of software, and it has a lot of new users. So again, once we start getting to this video getting 300 views a day and knowing it's an evergreen video that will get those views for 3, maybe even 4 years, we know that, that slow start isn't that meaningful, especially if it ranks #1 in Google and it ranks #1 in YouTube search. So that's just to give you context, for example, when it comes to what we were talking about there. So from a content strategy standpoint, evergreen videos, even if they don't get views, you don't worry about that with ad revenue. Evergreen videos that can grow your business, evergreen videos that are meant to drive affiliate revenue, sales. We talked about the affiliate sales. Evergreen videos that are meant to drive sales of your own products, infinitely more important. Community content, that would be things like this live stream and workshops and things of that nature. This can also grow your email list if you're a business owner. We've had several of you download the PDF slides for this presentation, and the presentations we've been doing for the last 5 weeks. You've been downloading the slides. Hundreds upon hundreds of you have done that, and you've added and contributed to growing the email list. That's important. You can market based on that. Some of you have joined the academy because of it. Some of you have done one-on-one coaching with me because of it. Same. So this is the funnel. The other thing is news content, being the news source for your niche. That actually matters. That helps with community as well. Establishing trust with an audience. We talked about traffic, trust, transaction. Well, what helps establish trust is focus. Having a focus makes you a subject matter expert. Packaging. Packaging shows that you pay attention to detail, and it can help you stand out at a glance from your competitors. Also, social proof. Social proof. What do we have right here? Me holding a silver play button. Social proof. That is a desired outcome. That is a means of status. Engagement. When you engage with your audience, when you reply to the chats, when you do a live call-in show, when you are able to engage with people and reply to most of your comments and reply to them in a timely manner. It is something different that builds trust and a relationship in a way that somebody bigger than you may not have the scale or capacity to do. So just the bandwidth to do that. It makes a difference. That's why when I wanted to grow from 0 to 100,000 all the way to 100,000, I replied to every single comment until we had 100,000 subscribers. I kept that up to about 150,000. It became unmanageable at that point. Consistency. When I wanted to grow, when I wanted to be successful, when I wanted to build trust, what I do? I made 800 videos to get 100,000 subscribers. I showed up every day. I was a daily content creator for about 3.5 years, I think. During that time, I grew by 10,000 subscribers a month while I was daily. It's not an accident. Business moves you could make that will actually help you if you are a business owner who is on YouTube. Put calls to action like discounts or links to your products in the pinned comment of your YouTube videos. Instead of pinning a comment because, oh, let me give attention to this person, or pinning a comment, let me shame this person, I would say pin something that either drives people to your newsletter or a direct opportunity to buy from you. Use info cards to link off of YouTube and go directly to your offers if you're mentioning your offers in videos. Create video sales letters, things that are organic content but are designed to help drive sales to your business. Find ways of interconnecting that to other content that might scale. Possibly link from your YouTube shorts to those video sales letters to take them from a place where you can't make money to a place where you absolutely can. Since YouTube shorts don't let you do description links, take them from your YouTube shorts as a business to a video that serves as a video sales letter where they can buy your offers in the links if they choose to. Use case studies to establish credibility and to convert viewers into customers. Use the YouTube community tab to schedule and promote lead magnets or direct offers. You could also engage there with content. Use viewer-only discount codes to drive urgency and direct sales, like we do with the $20 off for the brand deal starter kit. Again, mods, if you can post that in the chat, that'd be super helpful. Weekly live streams, they allow you to demonstrate value. They can also help you recruit, like I do for Awesome Creator Academy. They also can help you with direct channel fan funding, donations, memberships, any number of those things. Short form can create awareness in your brand or an interest in your subject matter, and you can use the related video links, like we said, and then drive people to a video sales letter. You could use Google Ads if you're a business, not to promote organic content. I strongly advise against promoting organic content. I would say that with organic content, your real goal is to just keep that separate. But I would use Google Ads specifically to either have a video that grows your email list or a direct sales offer and awareness. So I would use ads for that. Ads don't have to be extravagant. You can start with $10 or $15 a day of ad budget. Creating beginner's guides as evergreen content to establish authority and trust. Very important for thought leaders building businesses. Using things like Genius Link to be able to track clicks from your YouTube videos and measure ROI, sales, and lead magnets. Absolutely worthwhile. Creative Fuel has a find replace tool. Not all of you need to be on TubeBuddy for that. Creative Fuel has an affordable way, and they have a find replace tool to where you can update all the descriptions in your YouTube videos very easily using their tool. We'll go back in the description and we'll try to link to that for you in terms of Creative Fuel. Picking quality topics, qualifying your topics. This is one of the reasons we use 1 of 10. This is one of the reasons we're happy that 1 of 10 is a sponsor for us, is because you can use this to qualify your videos. Has anyone ever gotten 100,000 views on this idea? Has anyone ever gotten 1 million views on this idea? What if you got 1% of their results? What if you got 10% of their results? That puts you in a place where you know you can get 1,000 to 10,000 or 10,000 to 100,000 views if you even got 1 to 10% of those outcomes. But if you don't know how to qualify the videos and say that it got those outcomes within a 90-day cycle, you don't know if your idea is any good. You're guessing. So I would do the research, and research is knowing. You could just try guessing, but it's better to know. So I would qualify your ideas. 1 of 10 can help you do that. If you do use them, discount code Roberto gets you 50% off. And if you want to use discount code AWESOME at checkout, it gets you a free trial. So make sure you're checking them out. Thanks to 1 of 10 for sponsoring. So again, these are things that are direct moves you can use to grow your business if you're a business owner who happens to be on YouTube. Build your authority. In my own creator journey, I had to develop my skills as the foundation, and I used those skills and lived experiences through my 20s to create value on YouTube in my 30s for people. And so within 3 years of taking this seriously from 2013 to 2016, I went from 0 to 100,000 subscribers. I wasn't talking about how to grow a YouTube channel for the most part with that because I hadn't done it yet. So, what I talk about, things I did in corporate America in marketing, design, video editing, photography, things I did for a job. You can turn your 9 to 5 job and your experiences and your war stories in the foundation of a professional personal brand that you can monetize and turn into a 6-figure business through content creation. And that's what I did. I got to that level because I made 800 search-friendly videos that gave undeniable value to audiences who were looking for very specific information in a simple and easy to follow way. And that's worked for me even now. So that's what got me my, 6,000 subscribers, my 4,000 plus buying customers in my database, 5,000 customers for my books, and ultimately helped me build my email list. And so I think that this is important, that you should establish authority. Now, there are ways to do that as an influencer versus a thought leader. But again, I'm just speaking to this is what I did. So, a holistic monetization strategy. And then we're going to do a little bit of Q&A with you guys. Also, I'm going to demonstrate for you, because I promised I would, how the new YouTube monetization works with regard to interruptive ads. That'll be very brief, and we'll do that before we close out here in a little bit. So we'll probably cut off at about 2.5 hours, but I'm going to also get a drink here in a minute so that my throat doesn't close up on me. But this would be the monetization strategy that I recommend. I recommend you use at least 3 to 5 of the monetization methods we covered. I would develop on-platform and off-platform strategies to earn income. I'd make sure you have a strong monetization mix that includes a passive income source for cash flow, monthly recurring revenue, and then some kind of reliable and overall stable revenue outside of AdSense. I would develop as many of these income streams as possible, but some of you might need to do one at a time. You might need to do focus on one for 6 months, another for 6 months, et cetera, et cetera. That might be the right approach for a lot of you. Build strong relationships with brands for your partnerships, and try to make sure you're someone easy to work with in the industry. I would definitely invite all of you who are interested to check out awesomecreatoracademy.com/join. We do have weekly office hours twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, unless it's holidays or I'm traveling and can't do it. We have 100 hours of exclusive training for you. We also give you access to all the digital downloads and over half a dozen different products, all the starter kits, etc., as long as you're a paying member. So you can do that monthly or annually. You can check that out. If you want, you could also be a VIP. VIPs pay more, but VIPs also get quarterly one-on-one coaching calls with me. So that's something that we definitely offer. And that's basically the end of the workshop presentation, aside from me demoing the YouTube interruptive ad placement and talking about that and the update to policy. So we'll get to that here in a moment. What I'm going to do in the meantime is you're going to watch the trailer for my book, Create Something Awesome, while I go ahead and step away and get another drink to make sure my throat doesn't close up. So we're going to do that really quick, and I will be right back. I finally did it. I finished my book, Create Something Awesome, How Content Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion in the Creator Economy. The book is available now in paperback and in Kindle, where you can read it on any e-reader or device. And I'm really excited about this. The audiobook is coming soon, probably October 2022. Oh my God, it's so great to be able to have this book done, put it up on the bookshelf, and to know that all of you who appreciate it, you want to hear what I have to say about the creator economy, becoming a full-time content creator, and what the experience and lifestyle of being a content creator actually is like. This is the book. I put 20 chapters in here of the most important things I think that content creators could be focusing on today. I talk about the mental health aspect of being a content creator, getting discouraged, imposter syndrome, not charging what you're worth, and mostly actionable advice around monetizing your content properly, but also how to build an audience on your authenticity and what it's really like to start from zero, even today. So if you're interested, make sure you're checking out the book. You can order it on Amazon. You also probably order it in a lot of other places like Barnes & Noble, and it will be coming to other bookstores soon. Really excited about it. Thank you for all the support and love around the book and the positive reviews. Now go ahead and pick it up and make sure you go out there and create something awesome today. Take care. All right, and we are back. Now I'm going to show you here in analytics about interruptive ads, and we had a question from Tube Labs. How is RPM higher because the videos are longer regarding when I showed my stats? I'm actually going to cover that for you and show you the actual stats on the videos and about the interruptive ads. I'm going to show you that also on previous live streams and the monetization regarding that. Excuse me. So we will go to analytics here. Yep. So analytics. This is a video from the beginning of the year, from basically January. It's done really well on revenue, so you guys can see that. Very high RPM. So if we go into manage ads, there are more of these manual and these manual slots here. So I do the manual ad placement. And in this case, I eliminated any of the interruptive ads that YouTube says, hey, we won't play this ad because it's interrupted. They usually mark that in red. So I've eliminated that. And there's a decent, healthy amount of ads here. Now, YouTube doesn't guarantee that it will play those ads. But what we can do also is we can look into the more around the video ad performance here. And one of the things we could look at is we have this estimated revenue for views and this RPM, but the RPM can also be misleading because there's a metric here that matters that a lot of you don't know about, which is also estimated monetized playbacks. And so we use that, and now you can see that about 1/3 of my views were not monetized because they didn't have ads played on them. So if 1/3 of my views weren't monetized, then that means my RPM should technically be higher, but it's not. So you can see how that's theoretically misleading. If we go off of the ads that I had play and the revenue that I made, my actual RPM would theoretically, or rather my effective RPM wouldn't be $7, it'd be about $10. It'd be about $10. So that kind of shows you that there. With regard to, I think this one will be this one is probably not manual. I don't think I manually placed ads for this. So here is YouTube placing a ridiculous amount of automatic placements, which I don't like. Um, and I'm gonna turn off automatic ads for this one, and I'm just gonna basically clear YouTube's automatic ads to make a point here and show you this because this is just ridiculous. Actually, is there a bulk way to do this? Wow, YouTube doesn't even have a bulk way for me to select the automatic ads here, but I'm through most of them, so I think it'll be okay. That's wild. Okay. So here's how I would do things like this. There's a big noticeable ad break right there, a big break where there's no audio right there. So of course I'm just going to throw an ad slot there because why wouldn't I? But if we zoom into this, this is a very long stream. I'm literally just going to go for where the audio breaks are the longest. And I believe here in this 3 minutes, there was something going on. So that's fine. But if I zoom in more and I go throughout this video, there are going to be pauses that are obvious and make sense to just throw an ad in. Later, YouTube will evaluate if these are accurate or theoretically if there's an interruption in here. But I can use line of sight and kind of zoom in here. This might be too far zoomed in. I might have to zoom out. And I can, go through this and I can kind of determine where I should manually be placing ads. Now, because I didn't do manual on this before and it was just YouTube's system doing it automatically, um, I'm now going through and manually placing it, but this tells you that there should be natural pauses in your videos where it's okay to put ads, and I would do those manually because you see, I still don't feel like we've gotten to a place where YouTube's system is great at this. YouTube is improving this, so I'm not trying to completely throw them under the bus here, but you saw what YouTube did in terms of where it thought it was okay to put so many ads, and maybe technically those places weren't interrupted, but I just thought there were too many of them. I just thought like, oh, that's too much. Um, even for a 3 hour stream, that just felt like wild to me. So I was like, nah, that's okay. Um, so instead, I'm finding places and manually inserting the ads myself, but I'm using the audio as a guide so that it's non-interruptive. And what non-interruptive means is in a place where you're not interrupting a sentence or the middle of a thought. Now, if you wanted to do this crazy accurately, you'd obviously be watching and reviewing the videos, but you could get away with, in my opinion, doing it by line of sight on just where there are breaks in the audio that seem significant. You could also plan this in the way that you film or record. You could plan natural pauses and breaks in between thoughts, sentences, ideas. You could plan it in your timestamps. You could insert transitions that make sense. And remember, just because you place ads doesn't mean they will appear all the time or majority of the time. Remember, I showed you that mine only showed up 70% of the time. And again, if these end up being interruptive of sentences or places that don't make sense, YouTube will then turn these gray slots red when it evaluates them and say, hey, those are interruptive. Those are creating a bad viewer experience. Place them somewhere else or use automatics. So that's what will happen there. Hopefully, in a bit, I'll be able to show you an example because maybe I already cleaned up all of the bad interrupted placements across videos. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. We'll see. And maybe that so that I can show you how YouTube's system works when it comes to that sort of thing. But like I said, here you can just look for natural pauses, place the ads there. And again, it's not a guarantee that YouTube will play them 100% of the time. So I wouldn't worry too much about whether you're overdoing it or it's hurting the views, because if YouTube only is going to play them 50 to 70% of the time, then you probably don't have to worry about it too much. And the longer your videos are, the less you have to worry about it, because there's a higher probability that people are just playing them in the background. So it's not going to hurt watch time at all or average view duration. If that's something you're worried about, the longer your videos are, the less of a role that's going to play in negatively impacting viewer enjoyment. So again, I wouldn't worry about it too much. So that's probably a healthy amount there. If we zoomed out, we probably could get away with quite a bit more than this. And oh, there's a crazy um audio break there that we can go ahead and drop one in there. Let's throw one here and see if YouTube approves it or not. Looks like there's a crazy audio break there when we zoom out. Looks like there's a potential gap in audio there. And again, if any of these are interruptive, when YouTube evaluates these within the next couple of minutes, it'll let us know. And then it will recommend that we delete those, or it won't show them on its own. But yeah, that seems reasonable. So we'll just hit save there. Let's see if we can find another video. That's just the analytics video. Let's find another video that might have some interruptive ads. Maybe this one will have some. Um, Here we go. Here's an example. So YouTube believes that even though I'm sure there's an audio gap right there, YouTube feels like this is interrupting an idea or a sentence. So what it's saying is that this is unlikely to show an ad, and that's why it marks it here in red. Out of all of these, it picked two toward the middle end here. And it says, move this ad slot for better chances of showing ads, places like natural breakpoints, make it more likely for you to benefit from mid-roll ads. If you leave an ad in the slot here, ads are unlikely to show. So that's what it's saying for this one. And so we just deleted that one. But out of all of our ad placements, we have multiple ads across this video. This video is a 40-minute video, basically. And so it is suggesting that these spots in the middle are not as good for placing ads. I would disagree with that, but we'll see what we can do about moving it to a place YouTube deems appropriate. So we'll just do that, and then YouTube will either approve that placement change or not. So that gives you a sense of what's going on with the update to YouTube and monetization as far as the interruptive ads and how it's notifying you of those placements. Like I said, and I showed you in analytics, we can find in analytics, you know, what's going on with our videos for the most part and see things like, oh, this is how many monetized views we got by clicking into more on the revenue tab. But as I said, I believe in monetizing so much outside of YouTube as to not have to worry as much about this as a hedge so that you're not constantly obsessed with the ad revenue. Dizzy asked, should I use auto ads for 10 to 15-minute videos? You can if you want to trust YouTube's system. I just prefer to do it manually. And I feel like manually is just better. And you saw it doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of time. If you were literally doing 3 videos a day, I could see it being a pain in the butt to do it. If you're only doing 1 video a day or 3 videos a week, it should not be a problem to go and to insert the ads manually across a 10 to 15-minute video. As for making sure that there's a natural pause, the easiest way I find to do this for most of you would just to be able to have a natural pause through a transition that is 1 second to 1.5 seconds. And a natural transition is just doing this. So it's just something like a simple wipe, and that's a 1 second wipe. This is what a second and a half is. So there's, you see, creates a natural pause, just like that. You don't need anything more special than that when you're making your videos in terms of changing how you edit and approach your videos. You don't need anything more than a second and a half transition, and it can be as simple as a wipe or a dip to black or a dip to white. With an example being this here. That's a simple dip to white transition. I wish I had a way to know how to set it to be a dip to black transition, just because that'd be more natural here, but that's an example. Some people will do a crossfade. I think a crossfade is not as clean. I don't love a crossfade because of that. Even if it's a second and a half a second crossfade isn't bad, but I don't like it. I prefer to either do a push or a wipe. Push is that, a wipe is this. I do my wipes via my live switcher that switches my camera angles. So that would be my preference, is to just for me, but that's something you can do in editing as well. I have the ability to do it during live broadcast. You could do something like that during editing, and that is appropriate. The same thing with not having as much talking text over title card transitions where you do animated text and put that on screen. So those would be ways that you could approach the manual editing side and create reasonable breaks where mid-roll ads could exist. Yeah, YouTube's system is getting better at the ad placement and at the transition between ads. So again, I don't think creators are gonna have to worry about how the mid-roll ads impact watch time. YouTube's trying to optimize everything around viewer enjoyment, keeping people on site, not having people click off of videos. So that's why it's doing what it's doing. For copyright music, my current video that's getting traction on that has like 15,000 views answers the question as quickly as possible with regard to copyright. But for most of you, the answer to copyright is actually really simple. If you want to license copyright music, I tell you how to do that in the video and where to pay for it and how much it costs. And it's really cheap. It's like $8 a song, so that you can do that on your YouTube videos legally and just not worry about it. And you can use music you've heard on Spotify, music you've heard on the radio, music you've heard in the club. It's going to cost you $8 a pop. And I tell you exactly how to do that in the copyright music video tutorial. It's literally a 3-minute video There's no reason not to watch it. It answers the question in its entirety for the most part. The bigger issue for a lot of you with copyright is when it comes to things like using another YouTuber's video, if it's not something that already is set up for reactions. The smart thing to do is to watch what other YouTubers are reacting to and knowing that they've already done everything that they need to research whether it's okay to react to those things. So it's reaction content that suffers there. Most gaming channels don't have to worry about it. The biggest problem with gaming channels is that if you use the music that's in the video game, the video game's developers may not have had a transferable license. And then the music could also change hands to Warner, Sony, or Universal, and then they could decide to claim or take down videos. So for video games, you're better off not using the game's music. You should go into the game's settings, turn the music down to 0, keep the sound effects on because that's safe, and then you should just edit in or stream copyright-free music from someone like Epidemic Sound during the game that still matches the tone or vibe of the game. Or you should commission your own ghost producer to make a soundtrack for you that then can create a sound design brand for your content to where people are like, oh, wow, where's that music? And then you could get them to stream your music that you own the rights to. If you get a ghost producer, you can get them to stream your music that you own the rights to. And then you've got people streaming your music on Spotify. And now you're earning money from Spotify. If you still are hung up on I want game music that feels like it's from the game, I would hire a ghost producer to go through DistroKid and do a cover license, have them do a cover, have them do a glitch tune, glitch hop, or chip tune version or retro version of the game's music. Pay somebody on Fiverr to do that. You can get 10 tracks for like $160, and you would do that. They do a cover license for you. Make sure that you ask and request them to do it as a cover and do a cover license so it's not an exact copy. DistroKid will handle the royalty split with the original rights holder for you. And so as long as you identify that's a cover, now you can do a revenue share and you can split money on that music. Now you don't have to worry about it being claimed on your YouTube videos, but also if they listen to it on Spotify, you can double dip and make money from the streaming. This is something my friend Frost FM does, for example. Because he does like glitch hop, retro, chip tunes, all this stuff of game franchises. So that'd be a way of double dipping on not worrying about it from a revenue standpoint and doing something that makes sense because people do like remixes of things. So that would be the hedge for like gaming channels worried about the music from the game. So that's another example. When it comes to like TV shows, the reason that some creators are getting away with that is they are significantly altering and editing even the footage itself within the context of their video. They're putting filters over it, they're reversing the image, they're doing all kinds of nonsense. I recommend not using more than 10 seconds at a time of an individual piece of video content in something like that, maybe even as little as 5 seconds at a time. With music, don't try and get away with it. Just buy a cover, just buy a license of some kind. But with the video, a lot of them, unbeknownst to you, are with talent agencies that have access to whitelist them for those. And they're with those talent agencies, and those talent agencies either get a portion of their ad revenue, or those talent agencies get a portion of their brand deals revenue, or being paid directly for services. So a lot of creators are getting away with it that way, and you guys don't know about it. There are also licensing firms that will help give you the licenses to access certain intellectual properties. I'm not going to name the main big one because they also have somewhat of a dubious reputation where they've done unkind things to creators. So it's one of those you're either with them or you're against them type situations. Therefore, I'm not going to promote them here on my platform, but they do exist and they would have access to the intellectual property that you'd probably care about the most. So their creators get to react to that because they pay them fees. So if you're willing to pay the ransom, those things are available. So that's what I would say about that. I think that covers most of what you would want to know about copyright and fair use as it applies to YouTube. At some point, I might put together a panel for the podcast of some YouTube lawyers who can cover this in depth. Maybe what I would end up doing is I'd end up doing it as an episode of the podcast, hosting a panel of YouTube and creator lawyers and people that know TV and music and entertainment copyright, run them through a bunch of questions, take questions from you guys and field them at them plus my questions. Then once we do that on the podcast channel, maybe I would take the most relevant version of that. Maybe if we did it live, I would just then repurpose the replay as an upload on this channel. That would be something we might look at. What YouTubers used to do was YouTubers used to go viral by doing parody music videos that were not line for line recreations of the original, and that was clearly parody and was making fun of something. Justine used to do these green screen videos that were insane like that. And so that was a big part of the culture of YouTube at the time. We got a question from Axe Papa, and then I think we're going to wrap up because I think we've covered basically everything we meant to cover tonight. I think this was a massive presentation. I want to definitely thank all of you for watching across all 6 platforms. I think we have over 400 people watching, so appreciate you guys across the 6 platforms. So Ask Papa has a question. Question, Roberto. If a company wanting to send me free product for video integration, they'll provide an affiliate link and the product is worth $400. Is this a very is very pertinent to my content? Is this a good deal to start? To start off with, this is excellent. To start off with, this is excellent. And to start off with, this helps you showcase your value to other brands in the future. The affiliate link is a pathway to revenue for you. So that makes sense. It's something that you're not coming out of pocket for. You're still a channel under 10,000 subscribers. This is great for you. You have the affiliate capacity on this. You can make more than one video with the affiliate link to your heart's content. You can promote the affiliate link in your community tab. Getting free product is a great place to start, especially under 10,000, under 20,000. Free product, absolutely great to start. I have no issues with this deal, especially since it's worth hundreds of dollars and something you would find relevant to your content. It'll help you make other content, so it's a resource for you. This is great for you, Ask Papa. I like this. So I would definitely start there. This also helps begin a case study for pitching to brands in the future. A lot of you should not be snobs and think, no, I want money right now. I deserve this. I work hard on my content. Start with things that help you and give you the ability to make more content because you have to make content anyway. Start with affiliate, use that as proof of concept, use sales numbers and affiliate drivers as proof of concept, build case studies, use this as part of a way to justify pricing to brands in the future, use this to pitch. Fantastic foundation to start, and it's great that they reached out to you wanting to send you something. So that shows that people are already valuing you if they're doing outreach, even if it's not the offer you want. The fact that they're offering something at all shows that you have the attention, that people are paying attention, people are watching, people are thinking of you, people are wanting to work with you. It's an indicator of interest. So they're proving that they desire to work with you and that you have content that can be a commodity. So it's very good. This is excellent. This is not bad news at all. Do not shy away from the fact that, oh, they're not leading with offering me money. This is a way to test the waters and also see if someone's easy to work with or not in the future. If you can do a good job for them on this, it's going to be easier to say yes to you when money's on the table. So creators, do not turn up your nose at this stuff. I know it can feel annoying. I know that you're like, product doesn't feed my kids, doesn't put money on my table. But the thing is, it leads to the things that do. It's a great foundation to start from. Tantrum Nose says, thank you for all you do. Great advice. I have to start my channel over because of the reused content. Going back to check that video out that you made. Yep. Sometimes that's a thing. Yep. Absolutely. But unless the mods see any need for any additional housekeeping, I think that that could be a good place to start. All right, sorry, a good place to stop. Mods, you guys aren't seeing anything currently. Excellent. Yeah, I think this is a good place to bookmark it. Again, thank you to our sponsors. Uh, yeah, 1 of 10, obviously, and make sure you're checking them out. Mods, if you can link them in the description to that. Discount code Roberto gets you 50% off, and discount code Awesome gets you a free trial if you want to check that out. We will link to that in the chat. I'll also go back and make sure it's in the description. Thank you to our friends at Kajabi, best platform for going ahead and building your coaching business, courses, cohorts, paid communities. Like I said, it's going to be all about proof of human, personal brand, personal experiences and engagement. And it's going to be about private communities. That is the future with all this AI and automation. So you definitely want to check out Kajabi if you're a thought leader trying to build your business and brand on social media and on YouTube. Make sure you sign up with Kajabi. We've got a link for you in the description, I think. And mods, if you can get that into the chat. And so, yeah, that's where we're going to bookmark it. Oh, of course, don't forget, you can pick up my book, Create Something Awesome, How Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion in the Creator Economy. This is a book that is on Amazon and everywhere that you can find books. We have that available for you as well. This is a very affordable and practical guide to help you become a better content creator. And it still is going to be timeless advice. That's the way I built it. So we have that for you. And of course, we have our free Creator Foundations course and our free Creator Foundations Discord server where you can interact with other content creators, get a lot of structure out of the Creator Foundations course. Like I said, it's pay what you want. It could be $0, could be $5, could be $50, whatever you want to donate. If I've ever created $1 in value for you, that's fine. If all you can afford is $0, we want you to have that course. And then we want you to use the Discord server for free to interact with other creators and to really start to understand the value of having constructive criticism and critique. And when you're ready to move on to something a little bit more serious, you're ready to try to take this to the next level, either as a part-time or full-time content creator that's focused on the revenue journey. We'd love to have you in the Awesome Creator Academy Pro Group. We're going to end the stream tonight with more information on Awesome Creator Academy and the Pro Group and what you can do if you want to join us there, like many people from the community have. Thanks so much, everybody. Stay awesome. Make sure you come back Friday if you want to be part of the YouTube channel review stream. We will have that scheduled for Friday. I'll probably set it up tomorrow morning when I get up, and we will do that Friday in the evening for our weekend warriors out there. Stay awesome, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care. Becoming a content creator can be a very lonely process and adventure, but it doesn't have to be. When I first got started going from 0 to 100,000 subscribers, I had to do it all by myself. I didn't have a community of like-minded and like-hearted creators to talk to or to ask for advice, and I certainly didn't have a mentor to guide me along the way. I built the Awesome Creator Academy Pro Group because when I was getting started, what would have meant the world to me is not to have to struggle alone when it comes to being a full-time content creator. If I had had a community of creators that I could talk to and share information with, I would have avoided a lot of mistakes in my early career, and there would have been opportunities with brand deals where I would have gotten a better understanding of how to negotiate, and I wouldn't have undersold myself. I wouldn't have been taken advantage of in those early situations. So in the Awesome Creator Academy Pro Group, myself and our co-instructor Andy Rivera, we meet twice a week for office hours with our creators, and we share information, we talk about how we're building our creator businesses, and we offer constructive criticism and critique on the things that we're working on for our projects. You'll be part of a community of usually around 100 like-minded creators who are taking this seriously just like you are. You'll also have all access as a pro group member to all of our past, present, and future courses, training, templates, digital downloads, and swipe files. You have full access to our creator blueprints where you'll see our systems and the frameworks that we use to execute. You always fall or rise to the standard of your systems. A lot of people really underestimate how important that is. We have digital download templates that can help you so you don't have to start with a blank canvas. These done for you files are actually incredibly helpful, especially for things like your thumbnails, your media kits, and anything you need for your branding as a content creator to look professional. We have email swipe files that help you with reaching out to brands. We have great information in helping you price yourself and build your packages appropriately. And remember, as part of the pro group, you have the opportunity to ask questions from myself and all the other creators participating. And so this means that if you need to ask questions about negotiation or a brand deal, there's something you're not sure about, you're trying to find a better monetization opportunity with merch or affiliates, you have people who have done it before, who are already making money, that you can reach out to for advice. As I said, when I was starting out and I was flying solo, this is the thing that I wish I'd had the opportunity to be a part of, and it would have made all the difference in the world in helping me be an even more successful content creator. If you have questions, you can always reach out via support. We're happy to help you figure out if the pro group is right for you. Also, we do have the opportunity if you become a VIP member, if you also would like quarterly one-on-one coaching with me directly. Now go out there and create something awesome today, and hopefully we'll see you in the pro group. Take care.